There's no music.
Oh man. I know.
Welcome everyone. Okay, well.
Whoa, take two.
This is an unprecedented event here.
Welcome everyone to the late edition. So we're here co-hosting, me and Final, and it's good to have you here.
Yes, welcome, welcome, Wes. Good to have you here.
Yeah, rock on.
I swear I've had nothing to drink.
I have. I need more.
Only thing I'm drinking really is coffee right here. Oh, it's not completely hot, but it's still good. All right. You know what? I'm gonna lay $1 to donuts that I probably didn't click that audio again. So just to be sure. There we go. All right. Shall we try this again?
There we go.
There we go.
All right. Everyone, turn your volume up just a little. Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm a fire-breathing dragon, and I'm coming for you. You got nowhere to run, you got nowhere to hide. I'm a monster hunter for you. I'm a monster eater, baby, and I'm coming for you. I'm a monster eater, baby, and I'm coming for you. I'm feeling kinda hungry, and I'm coming for you. You've been warned, coming for the monsters. We got the monsters on the run. I'm a fire-breathing dragon, and I'm coming for you. You got nowhere to run, you got nowhere to hide. I'm a monster hunter, and I'm coming for you. I'm a monster eater, baby, and I'm coming for you. I'm feeling kinda hungry, and I'm coming for you. You've been warned, coming for the monsters. We got the monsters on the run. I'm a fire-breathing dragon, and I'm coming for you. You got nowhere to run, you got nowhere to hide. I'm a monster eater, and I'm coming for you. I'm a monster eater, baby, and I'm coming for you. Yeah, that was in 4K. I'm feeling kinda hungry, and I'm coming for you. You've been warned, coming for the monsters. We got the monsters on the run. I'm a fire-breathing dragon, and I'm coming for you. You got the monsters on the run. You got nowhere to hide. Got nowhere to hide. I'm a monster hunter, and I'm coming for you. I'm a monster eater, baby, and I'm coming for you. I'm feeling kinda hungry, and I'm coming for you. You've been warned, coming for the monsters. We got the monsters on the run.
Nice. That's I get the Black Sabbath vibes from that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Get the song. It just like the same day I created the song and sung the lyrics is the same day that I like wrote it. And man, it was just like one of those spontaneous things. Then the first vocal track, I'm like, well, I like it, but I wasn't sure about it, and so I just erased it. and then redid it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's it. And then I did the background vocal and did some different things with it, and man, it's like, yeah, I got the warm and fuzzies from it, and so yep, good enough. Because if I don't get the warm and fuzzies, it's like it's start over time. I go back to the beginning and redo the vocal till it just makes sense.
Yeah, it
So
worked.
How you doing, chat?
Hail the chat, the best chat on YouTube. We are so thankful to have you guys here.
The bestest of the bestest.
The bestest of the bestest.
For sure.
Top of the crop.
Definitely the top of the crop, for sure. So we're so lucky.
So yeah, that song is sort of like empowering, empowers you, helps you feel good, gives you upbeat feeling. And, like back in Lord of the Rings, they're hunting monsters and they're coming for them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Only this time the dragon's the good guy.
I like go ahead, Wes.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say it's definitely the most metal one that you've done so far, for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
there's one other one that's a little close to the metal side too. There's one other one in there that's not quite like that, but it's very, very. It's a little bit more close to Led Zeppelin, maybe. Yeah. There's even an instrumental that's very Eagles-like, and I think I might have some lyrics that's kind of Eagles-like, But I haven't not quite sure how to go about that one yet. So that's just one that's been sitting there. So let's play this next one here because Final hasn't heard it, and some of you maybe haven't heard it yet. And anyone that's new out in the chat will hear it for the first time. Fourth Wave Freak Flag. We are the OG in the fourth waves. Silence is golden. New effects in this one. We're not silent no more. We are the OG in the fourth wave. Silence is golden, but we're silent no more. Hey, we do not kneel, marching to our own tune. Dodging and ducking loons. Get out of my way. You see the wheel is turned, the fourth wave's on its way. Running wild on the hill, man, I can tell you that bird sure can fly. Waving the fourth wave freak flag, you better let it fly. We are the OG in the fourth wave. Silence is golden. Silence no more. We've broken the curse. So you can take your bag of tricks. Won't be silent again. My wings won't be clipped. You be you and I'll be me. We are the OG in the fourth wave. Silence is golden, but we're not silent no more. Hey, we do not kneel, marching to our own tune. Dodging and ducking loons, get out of my way. Yeah, see the wheel, it has turned. The fourth wave's on its way. Running wild on the hill, man, I tell you, that bird, it sure can fly. Waving the fourth wave freak flag, you better let it fly. We are the OG in the fourth wave. Silence is golden. Silence no more. We've broken the curse. You can take your bag of tricks. Won't be silent again. My wings won't be clipped. You be you and I'll be me. We are the OG in the fourth wave. Silence golden, but we're not silent no more. Hey, we do not kneel, March to our O2, dodging and ducking loose. Get out of my way, see the wheel has turned. The fourth
That was kinda cool.
on its way. Running
I didn't plan
down
that.
the hill, man, I tell you that bird, it sure can fly. Waving the fourth wave freak flag, you better let it fly. We are the OG in the fourth wave, silence is golden. Silent no more, we've broken the curse. You can take your back tricks, won't be silent again, my wings won't be clipped. All right. The
That's
moving
a good.
buttons.
That's a good one.
That is
Yeah,
a good one.
Fun one.
it
Yeah.
gives me the warm and fuzzies for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
I like that one.
Yeah.
It's got a real positive vibe about it.
Yep, it does.
So yeah, here in a little bit we'll give you a little dose of this drum bit that I found on the free audio section. It's kind of cool. It's about a minute and a half or so. It's really cool. But we'll check that out here in a little bit. So yeah, man, these two episodes, me and Wes were talking, and I think that this episode, these two, they could have been edited down into an hour long episode, part 1 and part 2. You know,
They were what? If you count in, what is it, like 43 minutes or so?
about 40-something
Something-
minutes each. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about that.
So slightly over, almost an hour and a half, basically, probably
Yeah, and
back to back.
I noticed when I was rewatching today that there was a lot of movie quality production going on. You could see they went out of their way in the production to make everything look right, even though it may look a little cheesy compared to like season 2 or 3 or 4, you know. But yeah, man. The uniforms, O'Brien wearing a red uniform, you know. He wasn't part of engineering department yet. At this point, everyone's just brand new characters. But one thing I did notice in this that Captain Picard is very, very curt and very crisp about his dealings.
He's very stiff, yeah.
He hasn't really settled into the character yet. He was still, Patrick Stewart was still kind of finding, I think, his Picard, what kind of captain he was going to be like.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that, you remember that he was in Dune? I think he
Yep.
leaned a little bit on that character. The character he played in Dune.
Hmm.
I think he kind of leaned into that just a little bit, because that's the only sci-fi that he was in, other than Star Trek. Dune was the only one, I believe, I think.
Well, apparently,
go ahead.
apparently Patrick Stewart was, a Shakespearean theater actor, and that he viewed Dune and Star Trek, The Next Generation, both as really just like paychecks. It wasn't something he really cared about or was really interested in. He wanted to do Shakespeare. They kind of lampooned that a little bit in Galaxy Quest with Dr. Lazarus. And so Patrick Stewart really just viewed it as a paycheck for, a really long period of time.
Yeah,
Was that
those
Alan
of you-
Rickman's character?
It was Alan Rickman's character.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh my God, he was so good in that. I really like. That's a good movie.
Yeah, Encounter
great
at
movie.
Farpoint. Part 1 and part 2, but really, you don't really notice the transition between part 1 and part 2. I'm just like, oh wow, really? And the only thing that really makes you notice is the intro to the show, So yeah, and this was they started out with the Entity Q, and it's really interesting the differences in Q and the way it was portrayed in this episode.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
Q is much more menacing in this episode than he is in the later ones.
Oh man,
Really, John Delancey, he kind of stole the show in these 2 episodes. He was really, I thought, the most interesting part of Encounter at Farpoint.
I think a major part of his character was based off of Napoleon. I really do.
Napoleon,
I
really?
Yep. I think some of the characteristic aspects of Q is based off of Napoleon. Because look at the hairstyle that he's got going on. It's Napoleonic. He's got a Napoleon style hairstyle. It's all swept forward.
I think in a later episode they actually had him basically acting as a Napoleon character with Riker, where Riker was supposed to get Q powers.
Yep.
They had the pig people shooting the phaser rifles or whatever.
Yeah.
Now Q changes his look multiple times throughout this too.
That's because they were omnipotent beings, and the little tiny little things about humans didn't really matter to them, and they only knew their minor curiosity with humans that they would look at every now and then. And they didn't go back and look at their studies and all that in their notes, and they just didn't really care. It didn't matter to them. And so they were grasping at pieces of their history. Of course, it was probably the most horrific pieces of their history that they were using against them.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, Bear, because one of my favorite parts of the episode was when Picard says, "We've made rapid progress, Q," and then Q says, "So, we'll talk about your rapid progress."
Yeah.
When the military was controlled by drugs. Oh, more. I'm going to reach hyperspace soon. that kind of stuff. I was like, whoa, those moments are great moments out of those two episodes, which when originally aired, it was a 2-hour premiere. It was 1 2-hour episode. So that's one of the reasons why I say Q stole the show. Q, they added so much to lore with that little back and forth between Picard and Q, talking about where Picard is defending humanity, and Q is saying, given these counterpoints as to why humanity should be judged and not be allowed to continue into space. So.
Yeah, he comes back and tells them, "Go back and fight commies. Do your part for God and country," or whatever, and all that stuff and all that spiel. And that's why I was saying the entity didn't read the notes and all that stuff. And they got these omnipotent beings that they have all this knowledge, but they didn't bother to really just go back and check some few details that they've actually come a lot farther than what all that was. And it's like they're purposely just remembering all the dregs of humanity's history.
Well, yeah, and there were some great moments too. What we would probably call these days like red pilling. He's talking about you humans in your petty war for resources on your puny planet, or whatever he said.
Yeah.
Wars for resources. That was kind of there's a lot of propaganda about why we would go to war and what the wars were for, and
controlling militaries through drugs.
Yeah.
All the foreshadowing of the war that they fought. I don't know if they called it World War III or anything like that.
Yeah, they did.
But yeah, and it was the feudal times after that, when basically all governments had fallen and stuff like that. That's what Q was kind of talking about, those courts, because it was the year 2079 that the court was based in, the later half of the 21st century. So yeah.
Where all defendants are found guilty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're in a kangaroo court there, and you're gonna be basically their pawn for what they want to do with you. You know,
I'll tell
omnipotent beings.
I'll tell you one thing. If traffic court were that nice, I would get speeding tickets more often, because if you ever had to go to traffic court, man, it smells really bad and you have to wait around, and there's always like one fluorescent light that's flickering. And I was there for traffic court for a ticket, and like some lady pissed her pants right there, and she didn't even know she pissed her pants. I was like, does that and I was talking to the bailiff. I was like, does that happen a lot? And she's like, yeah, a lot. And I was like,
Did you-
really?
Oh my
Did-
god.
And I noticed one thing in this. They went out of their way not to use colloquialisms that we would know from the original Star Trek sayings. Basically, they referred to the warp engine as the star drive and engage the star drive, stuff like that, and little weird things like that I noticed that I didn't notice before.
That's from the original series.
They didn't use the sayings that were used in the original Star Trek.
Oh, right. Yeah, they
Yeah,
changed
warp
First
drive.
couple
Yeah, they made it
episodes of the Next Generation. They
Yeah.
didn't use the word warp drive or anything like that. They referred to the star drive part of that ship, and they referred to the engine as engage the star drive. It's really weird. I was like, wow, because it was on the battle bridge.
Wonder
Very-
what the reasoning behind that would have been. Just
I
make
think
it something
they
of their own, or make it.
Yeah, I
make
think-
it neat.
were- think they're
different.
trying to be original.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things you pointed out, Bear, that I didn't realize until I rewatched the episode was that this was written by Gene Roddenberry and DC Fontana.
Yep. Yeah, Burrs. Sure is. Yeah, it's the. I noticed the credits. I'm like, huh? Oh, really? It's like, oh, cool.
There's no one. I'm reading in the chat. Nano Reaper said to Captain Trek, yeah, and he is far better than new character Trek. There's no one. I haven't watched Discovery, but there's no one in that's like Q, right, or some kind of species that's supposed to be similar to that.
Well, we think it's possible that Mikey Spock might end up being a Q type entity.
Oh, really?
That's my theory, my personal theory. My personal theory is that Mikey Spock is going to end up being not a god, but the god, and that her existence as Michael Burnham will just be to experience a corporeal, physical existence, and that none of it will matter. But I could be wrong. That's probably too. It's probably too smart for those writers.
Too deep for the writers.
Yeah, there was the writing is pretty deep, depth. There was a lot of good writing in this, and and Q kind of disparaged and shamed them about their past, which I found oddly kind of weird, because I never realized that. It's like, wow, he's really shaming them. Because Picard goes on a tirade, basically, about being shamed about Earth's past. It struck me as kind of funny.
Well, I mean, again, I think that was, in my opinion, that was the best part of the show. This part of these two episodes, and yeah, I mean, I think part of it is a demonstration of Q's power. That Q is omnipotent, and he hasn't had to have the challenges that humanity has had, and so he is a little bit judgmental about it.
So, all right, I got some pictures. Yeah, I grabbed some snapshots from the screen of my TV, and surprisingly, they look pretty good. And of course, I grabbed pictures of the Enterprise. What's up, Bodega? How you doing, man? All right, let's share that. There.
Oh, okay. I see they were talking about Miles O'Brien. Yeah, he was great.
Look at that. That's a picture of my screen. That don't look too bad, does it?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it is.
And there's the bottom angle there. How you doing, Captain Trek, man? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Hail, Captain Trek.
Hello, hello.
Hello, all. That is one beautiful ship.
Yeah, I grabbed some.
I like it better than the E.
Definitely better than the F.
Yep.
Yeah, I grabbed some stills from my nice big TV screen with my camera on my phone, and they don't look too bad.
Oh no, it's the J. Excuse me.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, from Enterprise. Yep.
They've never really shown very much of the J class, and this was. But you could see Picard's right behind her, and he's getting ready to go up the lift.
Oh yes,
And-
nothing like those skirts.
Yeah, it's the first time they had skirts with shorts built into the skirt.
Yeah, the scants they called them. Yeah,
Scamps, I'm sorry.
and they had some male crewmen wearing them too.
They had
On
some
her,
male
that's not,
crewmen playing
on
it,
her, it's
wearing it?
nice.
Yes,
They had males wearing them. Yeah.
Yeah.
that was a season 1 only type thing, but
I don't
they
remember
did.
that. Jeez, yeah.
They did.
There were some males wearing those actually. And I'm sure Tasha Yar's like, you want me to wear what? Get out of here! I'm wearing pants.
Well, she said security. She needs the extra protection.
Yeah.
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 Extra fabric. Ton of protection.
Yeah. Protective against phaser blasts and
Yeah. Strong winds aboard the Enterprise.
Well, it makes her look like she has more authority, rather than
Yeah. That for sure, yeah.
Yeah, she had a great backstory. It was a real shame that whatever happened, and she ended up off the show.
So yeah, I
What happened?
Well,
What's that?
I think she posed for Playboy, and Gene Roddenberry wanted her off the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. You talking about the
Didn't want to wear that
actress-
skirt on set, but had no problem
actress
taking it
that,
off.
to play Tasha Yar?
Yeah, Denise Crosby.
Yeah.
Oh. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate because they never really got her character developed in the series enough. I mean, later on, you got a good backstory, but you really didn't get the right amount of time for her.
Oh, and did you guys catch the Troy Lois Lane Superman talking moment? It was when they were speaking telepathically. It was the same talking inside her mind that Lois Lane did when she was flying
From
with
Superman 1.
Really?
Yeah, she tells her poem.
Yeah, she talks inside her head.
Can you read
Well,
my mind?
Yeah,
Do you know
and-
how all the wonderful
it's-
things you are?
Yeah,
that-
it's got the same feeling when they're talking to each other telepathically.
Interesting.
I hadn't thought about that before. You're right.
Yep, and they never do it again.
No.
And Umzadi, what does that mean? They would call each other Umzadi. a
Imzadi
lot.
is beloved.
Yeah, beloved, my love, beloved. It's the Betazoid term of endearment for spouses or, boyfriend, girlfriend, that kind of stuff.
Star-crossed lovers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Star Trek
Soulmates.
crossed lovers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Soulmates.
Wow. So yeah, there was a lot of different things that were. It was raw, but it was good. You notice the rawness, but the writing kind of got it through, got it over that hurdle. What's up, Witchfinder General? How you doing?
Hail, Witchfinder General. Yeah, it did have a rawness to it, but what Encounter at Farpoint means to me is came out in 1987, and that was a big deal because Trek had been off the air for over 20 years at that point on television.
It was a huge deal.
Yeah, and Star Trek was always something that me and my father, we bonded over and would sit and watch when it would be on Sundays or whatever day they aired it on. For our younger audience, if you don't know, we used to have to watch broadcast TV, and they would air the shows, and there was no on-demand anything. So if you had to catch it when it was on.
Real
Week to
clobbering
week.
times.
And you had to either videotape it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
VCR.
Yeah.
You had to use your code from your TV guide, and you had to pop your code from the TV guide into your VCR. And there's a name for that. I forget what it's called.
You gotta explain what
Well,
the guide is, because TV guides, most young people don't know what that is.
believe it or not, I think they still make a TV guide.
Do they really?
Not published, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
And they have the app.
The covers, the TV guide. They're probably still not worth any money now, but.
So yeah, basically, they're back in the old days with cable TV, the new advent. You could program your cable-ready VCR, and if you got your broadcast channels on those channels, you could program your VCR to record those channels.
Yeah, you could set it, right? I do remember being able to set the VCR so it would record when the show was on.
Yeah,
but that was the later versions of the VCRs. I think in the first versions, you had to manually do it.
You're looking
looking
right around the middle '80s when that was happening.
Yep.
When the technology was getting better, toward the late '80s, you started to be able to program stuff.
Yeah.
And
the
then,
worst,
in the '90s, they came out with digital cable, and it kind of interfered with that a little bit. So your VCR got stuck recording the channel your cable box was on.
Well, the worst part about that whole arrangement is that if someone else was in the house and they wanted to watch something else, you would see the start of your episode, and then they would flip it to a different channel on your recording. You're like, no!
You're like, son of a...
Now I have to wait for a rerun.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you miss Star Trek, it got to a point to where on the next, because there was always a second showing, the late showing.
Yep.
But that late showing, 10 o'clock, the previous episode from last week aired, so you could watch the previous episode and then watch the new one at 11 o'clock. Because it came on again after everything was done with,
Like Saturdays, if I'm not mistaken. Was it Saturdays?
Well, I forget which day it was. It was the day that it aired. And I don't know if they did it for The Next Generation, but they did it for Voyager. They did it for Deep Space Nine, or whatever was the main. Because when The Next Generation went away, I think Voyager became the main thing, and they were the day that it would broadcast on its prime time, it would repeat at 11 o'clock. But what was really cool is at 10 o'clock you could watch last week's episode if you missed it, and it was kind of cool about that.
Yeah, it was. It was different. Things were different, before on demand and all that. It was a very different world. It was pretty cool, because if you did miss it or somebody recorded over it, you could you'd find other stuff to do, but yeah, it'd be really disappointing for about an hour or two afterwards. Like, God damn it. Like, you'd see the beginning of the episode, or sometimes this happened, something else would come on and they would do a last minute program change. So there would be nothing on the tape, and then you'd fast forward it and you'd catch the first 5-10 minutes of the episode because they changed the time, and you're like, what? Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, the times where you're yelling at the TV and you're pulling your hair out and like, what the hell? Yeah.
That'd be
now when they introduced the
technology
TVs that you could watch like two screens at once. You could watch two different channels. Yeah, the screen
picture in picture.
I remember that.
Picture in picture. I remember when that came out. That was pretty. But I think you could still only record one. I think it just still recorded one channel. But yeah, that was pretty cool when that came out.
So
then it was syndicated like Clobbering Time's saying, and then TNG was on it was like UPN, and it was on a bunch of different channels.
Yeah, I think New Trek would make it through syndication. Hell no. And they're gonna try. They're gonna try and do it. They're gonna syndicate the first season, and it's gonna be on the airwaves. Oh man, we're gonna have you know that we're we're going to have fun. We're paying attention watching that because we're going to actually get real numbers. Because broadcast.
I think it's going to be a colossal failure myself, but we'll see. I'll tell you one thing: CBS sure does seem to go out of their way to try to quell criticism of that show. I mean, I've faced it. I think you guys have faced it too. But yeah, man, they will copyright claim you. I've had them copyright strike me. I've had to battle each and every one of them, and I'll win the copyright claim or the copyright strike. And then all of a sudden I notice that my channel, for whatever reason, gets heavily suppressed.
Really? Now, was that, did you do images or?
Hey, you know what? Hold on a second. Which General Final points something, Finder General points something out. Counselor Troy did have a weird accent.
She did.
Yeah.
She said as an acting choice to sound more alien, she had a friend from Israel or something, so she was trying to do kind of an Israeli accent.
Huh. Yeah, it came across a very Latin sounding accent almost. I don't think she quite got what she was wanting.
She eventually just dropped it.
Yeah, because accents from Israel and Latin accents from Mexico or South America, they can have a similar cadence, but there's differences, and you'll know the differences because accents in Mexico, say like my grandfather, the accents are a little bit fast, but not too fast. Whereas the accents in Israel, they're a little bit faster than an accent my grandfather would have and stuff like that. The way they speak because their language is different from Spanish. They talk just a little bit more fast. You ever try to follow Israeli in closed caption when you're watching a movie that's got Israeli speaking? I gotta pause to read the thing because they talk so fast. I thought Spanish was pretty fast when they talk, man. Wow.
I haven't seen any Israeli shows where they're speaking Hebrew.
There's shows here and there where they speak in Hebrew. You know, you watch NCIS, you'll see a little bit of that.
Oh, one of the agents I think was like a Mossad agent. So yeah, she does go into. Yeah, I've seen it on NCIS. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, I gotta pause this to see what she said.
Yeah.
It's like what? Mm-hmm. I think I got to go back on that.
Well, the thing is, on NCIS, they actually went slower than normal, even though it's still fast.
Yeah.
If it were an Israeli made series, it would have been.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be able to catch it at all, huh?
And so, yeah, the accents from Mexico, from you get down into South America, the accents change, and they get faster and get slower. Depends on where at. It's like Brazilian accents because the Portuguese, fast. They speak fast. If you ever notice in some of the Fast and Furious, there's some people that do speak some Portuguese, and they have subtitles for it. It's kind of hard to keep up with because they talk fast. They do. But yeah, I noticed with this episode that I kind of felt like I was watching a movie at times, and I found myself recollecting that it feels kind of odd that I feel like I'm watching a movie because it's a TV show, and I started thinking about the production quality, the imagery, and the cinematography and the lighting, and I was just like, I don't get this feeling from the new Star Trek. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this stuff's old. We've seen it before, and it's still resonating with me anyway.
It's as far as the quality of the episodes, I think that it's not my favorite, but as far as the significance of it, the return of Trek to television, I mean, that was a big deal. was a huge deal. And like I said, this is around the time my parents were divorcing or had divorced, and so I was living with my mom and my brother, and this came on. This was a big deal. This was something I was able to enjoy, and it kind of took kind of this the pain of that away from me, that I was able to enjoy watching new Star Trek. That was so cool. And again, we were talking about VHS and recording shows. For whatever reason, I would always get the TV yielded to me to watch Star Trek, even though no one else in the house liked it. So, by the way, folks, back in the olden days, a lot of times people only had one TV, or one TV that got reception or cable.
Yeah. And if there was any other TVs in the house, it was normally a 15 or 12-inch TV, black and white.
I had a 13-inch.
Ears.
Yeah, I had a 13-inch in my TV with rabbit ears, but nothing came in except for PBS, which most of the time, didn't really work for me. But I like some of their documentaries, but mainly I used the secondary TV for Nintendo.
You didn't have a set of rabbit ears that had spaghetti coming out the rabbit ears with wires? There had wires everywhere coming off the fucking frickin' rabbit ears, because
whatever you could to get that extra length to try to get that signal.
Lock that signal in and watch it, get a good picture.
I knew people who would
on that thing. Yeah, you do everything.
Who would cut apart wire hangers and literally wrap it around to try to get more reception.
Try to extend that reach. Whatever you could do.
Sort of like spring it around the antenna, like a spring.
Yeah.
That'll extend its range.
Yeah, it's amazing how far we've come in just 30 some years from that to literally having streaming services on our phones. We went from small screens to wanting big screens to going back to watching things on small screens.
Well, think about this for a minute. 1960, a computer filled a large room.
Yeah.
And actually, it was more like probably 1950 something. And in the 60s, we had those tall towers that had those reel-to-reels that were basically computers that were as big as a closet in the 60s to the middle 60s. Those controlled traffic lights and stuff like that. And if you're a movie buff and you know about movies that talk about traffic lights, The Italian Job from '69, they talk about those computers in that movie with those reel-to-reels that control the lights, because it was part of their job to put in fake reels so that way it would cause gridlock. So that's kind of how I know about it, because they talk about it in one of the movies, and that's the cool thing about some of these old movies. They talk about all this other stuff, and it's like they tell you things and stuff and all that. It's relevant.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've gone from that to we got this handheld device that's basically a computer. And if you think about that, in a relatively short time, because the first large computer function that we had was in the middle 50s that we developed. And you figure that's what, 1950, 1980, that's 30 years later. So that's like 50 years later so far now. 50 to 60 years later, and we're now have these advanced technology that we're live streaming through. We can even live stream on a phone. It's getting to that point. And we can watch stuff on our phones. Oh, we can share screen our phone to our smart TV. It's come a long way, man.
Well, don't forget, they also used to have commercials.
Yes.
Well, they still do on stream. Unless you pay the premium for Hulu.
Yep.
You still get them. And
but see, even then, there was no choice. You had to either watch them or be lucky enough to have a handheld remote, because some of them had the little wire remotes, and be able to fast forward to them.
Yep.
There was no TiVo.
And you'd always overshoot or have to rewind slightly. And
hey, I think that we can all agree with Clobber and Time's little statement here that the Next Generation, it took a little while for it to find its footing. But you see, unlike some of the other shows, it was really fun to watch them find their footing.
Mm-hmm.
It was entertaining.
Yeah.
It was good entertainment, and we're not getting good entertainment in these newer shows, we'll say.
Yep. Yeah, when we're talking about TNG and finding its footing, that first half of the first season is pretty rough. I really think, I mean, there are some good ones in the first half of the first season, like where no one has gone before. That's a really good one, but most of them are pretty average until you get to the second half of the first season. I think the first one that I really Coming of Age was, I thought, an amazing episode, and set up Conspiracy, and Conspiracy is probably one of my favorite episodes of TNG ever. And I still, when they were talking about Picard, I thought, oh well, wouldn't it be so cool if they did a series about the follow-up to Conspiracy, that the Bluegills had in fact infiltrated all of Starfleet. That would have been an interesting story to me, but nope, those writers aren't smart enough for that.
And so when I was talking about the star drive part, that's where the saucer separation happened, and they were trying to get away from the Q entity, and they weren't sure what he was. And finally, they got caught by their encounter and all that with Q, and Q telling them about, basically shaming them and showing them. And there's one thing they did here in this that kind of made me raise my eyebrow. They disrespected a United States Marines uniform. I believe that's a Marine. It's either Marine or it's Army. They changed their uniform so much.
When Q dresses up with the uniform.
Yeah, and they disrespect the U.S. military uniform by the comments they say about call it a costume. And that's the one part of that I really didn't agree with, because they're basically Starfleet is still it's a military, but it's an exploration military. It's based off of exploration, but they're still a military, and they still have uniforms. And I don't think, even now in the future in this Star Trek, I don't think they would have really disrespected the uniform of the past, even though the past they made mistakes, and they got shamed over.
Does Picard say that line, or does Q?
It was Picard.
Picard referred to it as a costume.
Yeah, as a costume. Yep.
And I kind of had a small problem with that, because my Uncle Richard, he was in Vietnam. I had friends that were in Vietnam. I had friends that died from their Agent Orange years later. Died from it. And my Uncle Jerry, he was in the Korean War. My great-grandfather was training infantrymen in the United States military, because he was in the Gordon Highland Brigade in Scotland, and he had a British military retirement. And so he was training U.S. infantry how to soldier. And so I've got some history in my family to the uniform, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of bugged me a little bit. And
now, does he say it in a way? Is it said in a way that is he saying it like as an archaic way of thinking? This was the military
I think,
or does he say it as like Q wearing that is more of a costume because he's not human? He doesn't he hasn't earned the uniform in a way. Like how's he saying it? 'Cause I don't really remember. Because if he said it like that, like it's just a costume to Q because he's not fit to wear the the uniform, then that
Q's definitely not fit.
Right? Is that how
that could have been inferred, but it was just there was it was straight up English coolness, bluntness, and it's one of those things where it was just a statement, and I don't think there was any real emotion behind it too much, but.
No.
It was referred to as a costume, and he could have been referring to him just wearing a costume, But any military man with honors, I don't think, even if it was Q, basically stealing honor by wearing that uniform and not earning it. I feel funny about it. I'll have to probably go through and re-listen to it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's not what their intent was, but I'm sure the context wasn't completely that, and so it's not a detractor overall. But
I thought of it as kind of irony because of the uniforms they were wearing in TNG, that he called those uniforms costumes when yeah.
Exactly.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'd agree with that. So yeah, so they basically they pushed the Enterprise just to try and get away from Q to warp 9.9 at one point, and I'm pretty sure they pushed it again after that to go as fast. But I thought it was interesting that right out of the gates they're just pushing stuff to the 10th yard, you know. They're full throttle, full bore going, you know, and I thought that was kind of cool. They were taking chances. I liked that.
To start off the new series with Q, character like that.
Yeah, and the fact that it's a new captain and they're pushing that battle bridge net ship to its 10th. They go, you know, it's not safe for it to travel 9.9, warp 9.9. Because basically, after a while, man, shit's gonna stop working. And so I thought that was kind of cool that they put the ship through the stresses right off the bat. Used photon torpedoes right off the bat. It was interesting. It definitely gets your attention. And the Riker moments gets your attention. And the point where they're looking at cloth. Beverly Crusher and Riker and Wesley. They're looking at purple cloth, and next minute it's Golden Boss purple cloth.
Mm-hmm.
Just interesting stuff that I liked about these two episodes.
Yeah, I like that specific scene you're talking about where Crusher says, "No, that wasn't there before."
Mm-hmm.
That was well done.
And look at Yar all through this episode. She's just biting at the bits to get in a fight. A good fight, an honorable fight. She just biting at the bit. She wants to get in the game, and I found that interesting in her character. I really liked that, and it wasn't dumb and it wasn't overplayed. It was just right, just enough. And there's even one point to where she's all gung ho, then the captain's like reminds her and it's like, think about that a minute, and then she's like, oh, I didn't think. And it was a believable moment. It's like, yeah, okay. Battle Fury. So yeah, there were some good moments in these two, part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, then we come to that part. You know, we got Admiral Leonard McCoy. He's 137 years old now, and he's having this conversation with Data. And they're kibitzing back and forth. And he's Bones. He's just Bones through and through. You can just tell he's still Bones. He's still going to be the way he is. And I found his rendition in this pretty cool.
And he said some slightly insensitive stuff about Vulcans, but you know what? We still love him because he's old, and we can forgive that. So
it's
okay. It's fine. You don't cancel someone because of that. He's an old dude. He's got old beliefs. He served a long time. Respect the old man, you know? Come on.
Well, it also added to the play along that they used to do in the original series.
They are damn annoying at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, that is a respectful reference to old Trek versus what they do now, which is they just, in my opinion, mock it. Versus
they do.
Keeping true to what was,
and just
they
so
absolutely mock it.
Just so you know, there was 10 acts in this. Because normally a story, like an episode story, will have 4 acts in the story. Yeah, because we're right about Act 6, right here. And I don't like to cover every detail because I want to leave a little bit out there for anybody else that they can discover too.
Oh yeah.
And it leaves a little bit for anyone else that wants to discover something, and that way we can get through it in a timely manner. But yeah, there's a lot of things about this that I liked. And it brings back good memories because, me and my dad, we did not get along very much on a lot of things, and we didn't agree on much. But we did agree on Star Trek, and that was the time. It was the sacred ground where no arguing happened and no talking during the episodes, and talking happened in the commercials and stuff like that.
Same. Yep. Absolutely, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Bear. I mean, that's that was. I didn't get along with my father either, and that was our thing that we did agree on and get along with.
I mean, we in Act 7 we even get an explanation on how the holodeck technology works and how it's like the transporter system, only that fauna and flora is much simpler to replicate and stuff like that. And we get a good explanation there. And we out of that scene, it's a scene where Wesley Crusher falls in the water,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just a little bit after that.
Yeah, I still don't know how he would be wet after being outside of the holodeck, but I guess
I wondered the exact same thing, and I'm like, okay, the holodeck turned off, so the water should technically just disappear, right?
Right.
Yep.
But it didn't. Huh.
It's like I don't know. Maybe they actually replicate real water in water scenes.
So basically, is the because the way they described it, the holodeck is basically replicated water in a holodeck. It's like blowing my mind. And then in later renditions, we get explained that it's photons. It's light. Photonic light captured in the holodeck and stuff like that. We get that explanation.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it more. I thought the explanation given was everything in the holodeck is real while it's in the holodeck, but it can't exist outside of the holodeck. So they're using the transporter technology to temporarily create whatever they're creating, but it has to be in the holodeck for it to exist, because if it goes outside the holo emitters or whatever they call it, they don't exist. And
the guy that Riker meets with in the beginning at Farpoint Station, the apples pop up, stuff like that, and so and he tells the speaking into the room and telling it to knock it off, and so we know that there's something going on. More meets the eye. Well, we know it's a large entity, and it can create stuff. It's a large spaceship-shaped alien entity that can survive and live in space and travel and stuff like that. And they can make themselves look different and stuff like that. And so this thing is just like really, really, really pissed off at this guy.
Yeah, it's a captive. It's trying to
it's being
covertly
tormented.
Yeah, as covertly as possible, tip them off that there's more happening.
It's
and
like Riker wanted some red apples. Voila. All of a sudden, Riker goes, I don't remember those being there. Yeah.
Yep.
And of course, the guy tries to play it off. Oh, did your lack of seeing them make them displeasurable? I don't remember the exact line, but
or less welcome. Yeah, I think
less welcome. And so, and eventually, of course, there's this other saucer-shaped ship that comes into the system.
Saucer.
It was saucer-shaped. It looked like the saucer, and it looked like a saucer-shaped ship.
Yeah.
And And so they went looking for the one guy, and he was hiding under his desk because, you know, that ship, he's pommeling the old town. They're shooting some kind of phaser-like weapon down there, and he's there. And the guy stands up, and the ship uses its own thing that he transports him. And apparently the thing can transport stuff up. If they can create stuff out of thin air, I guess they can transport stuff up from the planet's surface too. And so this guy's being tortured, deservedly so probably, by this entity up in the planet. And, you know, Picard and the crew and all that, they're figuring out that all these things that were happening that were weird sticking out, and it's like, yeah, and Troy figures out that entity down there is connected with the entity up there. One's very very sad and beat upon, the other's very angry. And so yeah, the mated pair right there, I would say, just came looking for each other. And so, you know, tail end of this here, they figure out, well, hey, we're going to send energy into the entity so that way it can break free. And so it breaks free. And this is when they discover that they're the same thing. And they change shape and look like their natural form. Instead of, let me see here.
Yeah, it was trying to be the well, that's how they created their new city. They had the old city, which was mostly stonework, and then they had the new city.
Oh, wow, that's really zoomed in.
Which is what the Farpoint station was.
Let's see, I got a picture of that ship right there. I think that's it. There we go. That's how big that thing was. Look how much that dwarfed the Enterprise. And you know the Enterprise, it holds a little over 400 people.
Wow, that's quite a difference.
I think 1,000.
I mean, that's a huge difference.
And there's one just like it down on the surface, and there was a city that big sitting on top of it. Because they were making it form and create the city they wanted. Horrible. But yeah, I found that picture. That's a cool picture. I got to show that. Yeah.
I mean, it looks like almost the entire Enterprise could almost fit inside of there.
Yeah, it looks like it.
4 times over.
Yeah. So, all right, let's see here. Time for a song?
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, we're at the. We'll sum it up after the song. We're at the very tail end of this episode. All right. I'm not even gonna chance it. I'm just gonna assume that I didn't click the audio. You know, I'm not even gonna. It's like, yeah, okay. All right. We should hear something now. There we go.
All right.
Welcome to the Ghost Bear Show. There's no troubles here. Like a light on a train, southwest bound. Time stop running, let the rain wash it away. Gotta walk the line, no more fines. Gonna walk the line, sing a song of long ago. Welcome to the Ghost Bear Show. Where we're gonna start on Ghost Bear time. No, I'm not man in the moon. That has the sound so profound. Man with the sound so profound to be found. A little bit never hurt no one. A little bit never hurt no one. Go for the show. Welcome to the Ghost Bear Show. Just need a scarecrow to scare the children. Welcome to the Ghost Bear Show. Welcome to the Ghost Bear Show. There's no troubles here. Like a light on a train, south wind bound. Time let the rain wash it away. Gotta walk the line, no more fines. Gonna walk the line, sing a song long ago. Welcome to the Ghost Bear Show. Well, where we start our Ghost Bear time. No, I'm not the man in the moon that has the sound. Sounds so profound, man, with a sound. So profound to be found. A little bit never hurt no one. Go for the show. Welcome to the Ghost Bear Show. Just need a scarecrow to scare the children. Welcome to the Ghost Bear Show. Welcome to the Ghost Bear Show. There's no troubles here. Like a light on a train southwest bound. Time to stop running, let the rain wash it away. Gotta walk the line, no more fines. Gotta walk the line, sing a song long ago. Welcome to the Ghost Bear Show. Unicorns, anybody? Unicorns?
Unicorns in San Fran?
Yeah, I believe it's next. Hey, look at there, it's Final. How'd you get in there? Yeah, this one had a little bit of imagery left over. Movie and a unicorn, and popcorn. I saw unicorns and friend. All I had was a grand. Making an Exodus movie show was getting good. I got my popcorn. Hot summer, got to beat, got some heat, can't beat it. Add this to your playlist. Do you understand the music show? Apocalyptic movie show. I got my popcorn 2 degrees. Nothing like watching this movie show. So many to choose from. Got my popcorn, yeah. Hope you got your popcorn too. Living in a post-apocalyptic movie show. A movie and a unicorn. Movie and a popcorn. Movie and a popcorn. I saw unicorns and San Fran. All I had was a grand. Making an Exodus movie show is getting good. Got my popcorn getting really deep. It got some heat, can't beat it. Add this to your list. Do you understand the music from the apocalyptic movie show? I got my popcorn too. 100 degrees, nothing like watching a movie show. So many to choose from. Got my popcorn, yeah. Hope you got your popcorn, yeah. Living in a popcorn movie show. Movie and a unicorn. Movie and a unicorn show. Okay, watch those buttons move. It's like when it's in between songs, just don't try to click the buttons because they're moving. Creates comical moments when you're in a live stream, I tell you. It's like kept going back, kept going forward. It's like, okay, I'm gonna stop clicking. Let it do its thing. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, that's a fun song. Gotta say.
Yeah, Unicorn and San Fran's definitely one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's another popcorn song out there somewhere. Popcorn and movie shows and stuff like that. Those are always fun songs.
For sure.
I got my popcorn. Hope you got your popcorn too.
Yeah, man. It's a fun thing, you know.
It is, yeah.
It is. Yeah. It's a catchy tune. I find myself random songs that I've written will start popping into my head. And when things like that start happening, it's like, okay, I'm supposed to write a song. I'm supposed to find the instrumental. It's like, okay, I got the message. It's like, okay, it's going through my head, and I'm like, it's like, I start thinking the creators, like, creator, you're trying to tell me something. And then I'll hear random things on the TV. It's like, okay, I get it. There'll be like 3 words, something on the TV will say, I'm like, man, that sounds really cool. That would sound cool in a song. And it's just like, and sometimes that's where songs come from, little inspirational moments. It'd be a live stream, it'd be watching the TV or whatever, and it'd be something really cool someone will say. I'm just like, that's kind of cool. And just the wordplay and all that gives me ideas, and they spring from there. It's fun writing songs.
Now, where did you come up with the popcorn idea? Are you a fan of popcorn, or is that just kind of movies? It just goes hand in hand.
Well, movies, popcorn, having our popcorn, eating our popcorn, being able to watch the show. So there's a lot of things going on in that song besides having our popcorn and watching the movie show. If you know what I mean,
Oh yeah.
It's multifaceted, and that's what I like about the meanings of songs and the meanings of the words. And sometimes it can be a song about absolutely nothing and just be fun, Sometimes, it's saying something, sending signals and all that, but it's clever. And that's the way I like to do songs. Songs should be clever and should come across in a kind of clever way. And I watched Jerry Garcia do it with his banjo music. I watched him do it with Grateful Dead, Jerry Garcia band, and I watched a lot of other rock and roll stars do a lot of different stuff musically, acoustic stuff like that, banjo music, mandolin music, all that stuff, man, great stuff. I ran across Billy Strings, and if you watch Billy Strings on YouTube, you'll see this other young kid. He's got long hair and baby faced, and he's not real thin, but he plays a real awesome acoustic guitar, and he's got an awesome band. And he blew me away. It's like, wow, man, the guy was great, man. He played in the Grand. He made a session in the empty Grand Ole Opera. That was kind of cool. It was his acoustic session, and that was kind of cool. So it's stuff like that I find inspiration from. And I got a real good ear when it comes to music and timing to a degree. Can I write music? No. Can I read it? No. I've only fiddled with a guitar for a little while, and it's been a long time since I fiddled with a guitar. But yeah, it's really fun writing the song and then singing those lyrics and putting them in time to that piece of instrumental. And I love the process. I get a lot of kicks out of it. It's fun. And I got a feeling it's probably going to go somewhere, so that's why I'm going to just keep doing it,
Well, there's enough material right now.
Yeah, if you're talking about
19 tracks now.
Well, if you're talking about watching a movie show and being a metaphor and get your popcorn, 2020 has definitely been one of those.
Yep.
It's kind of why, and so basically, it's like a sort of like a reflection of everything that's going on, and all the stuff that's bad gets filtered out and it gets seen for what it really is, and that's what songs do. They're magical that way. Not that it's actual magic, but it's those magical feeling moments that can get captured. And I've been to a lot of different concerts and seen some pretty cool stuff. I've seen ZZ Top live. That was fun. That was fun, and loud. I got to see them on one of their Recycler Tour concerts at the Rosemont Horizon. It was really fun to watch those guys. Those guys can freaking rock, man. That was fun. I've seen Jethro Tull at the Chicago Theater. That was a lot of fun, but we were up in the top of the theater, and it's tiered kind of tight. If you lean over, you can kind of look down and get the weird butterflies in your stomach because it's so far down. Yeah, it's up in the balcony where you can see in the very top of the Chicago Theater. It's all round, and it's got strategically placed holes in the molding probably maybe about 2 feet around, maybe more, and they echo all the sound up in there, and it sounds awesome. And I've been in a lot of different old theaters too that got great sound. I mean, you can't go in some of these newer theaters and all that stuff and get those kind of sounds that those old ones have. Because in one of those places, get burnt down and stuff like that, and that's a piece of art that's gone and lost. That'll never be around again.
Because they were designed to be that way. The buildings of today are designed to be efficient.
Oh, and when we were walking out of the Jethro Tull concert at the Chicago Theater, we ran into the band. We ran into 3 of the members of the band, and we acted all cool and all that, and just talked to them a little bit and went on our merry way. Didn't bug them for autographs or anything like that. Just had a conversation.
It's so funny you bring up a story like this, Bear, because one of the stories that my dad tells me is about seeing Jethro Tull at Memorial Auditorium in Sacramento, which is one of those older buildings you're talking about. And he actually ran into the lead singer of Jethro Tull after the show. And
wow.
I guess the lead singer of Jethro Tull let my dad have a hit off his joint after the show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how our parents will have stories like that and stuff, stories from the 60s. I grew up in the shadows of the 60s hearing stories about the 60s when I was a kid,
Yeah, that's same here.
Interesting time it must have been to be alive.
Music is one of those things that is one of those healing kind of things. And I got certain attitudes toward society and towards politics in general. I'm getting to the point to where 2020 has burnt me out. It's kind of why I started writing songs, because if I didn't start writing songs and singing, I think I was probably going to go nuts. So I found my outlet, and it's a pretty good one, and it's positive, and it's been making me pretty happy with that. And so yeah. And the main reason why I do it is because, if someone's down and all that, they put my song on, all of a sudden they're feeling better. That's why I do it.
Yeah. That's exactly what music is for.
A lot of newer musicians now that there's guys like Billy Strings and a lot of the people that are in that folk music scene that's making a lot of good music, man. FinalDeathStar's seen Billy Strings on YouTube.
Yeah, I have. Oh, you showed. Yeah, you introduced me to him.
Yeah, and my God, man, a lot of talent.
Yeah.
And these are young kids. These are kids in their 20s.
Happy birthday, Will. Happy.
Yeah.
And and I was blown away by this. I'm just like, wow, they're got some real good banjo music, hill folk music, man, good stuff, good music.
Yeah, old school sounding music.
Yeah,
which I guess would be considered like classic now.
Yeah.
And man, just great sounding music and shit. All the mandolin players. There's one particular YouTube channel that has a whole bunch of that stuff going on, and I've seen so many of them. I got to look through the history and find them again, because on the suggested on the TV, on the phone, it's like I got to go looking for stuff. It's like one of my favorite log cabin builders that's been building this log cabin. I had to go looking for his latest video because it wasn't showing up, and there's this one video where he put his girlfriend in the thumbnail, and her back is to the thumbnail. That thumbnail has almost 1 million views. Actually, it has a little over 1 million views. Just a little bit over 1 million.
Just the thumb. Wait, what? The thumbnail?
The video has over 1 million views, and all those other ones have like 68,000, 90,000. This one's got 1 million views. It's because she's a good-looking girl. He's showing they're clicking that because they wanted to see the girl.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hey, that's marketing right there.
Because man, and after that, I think he learned. He started having her in the videos a lot. A lot more people started
Gotta
watching
use this some more.
because they wanted to see his girlfriend because she's
Yeah.
good looking.
Smart man.
Funny. Yeah, that's funny.
Hey, monetize.
Yeah.
Always
Knows what sells.
always be monetizing.
Yeah, always be monetizing.
But yeah, I watched this guy build this log cabin from nothing to it actually being. It's the most sturdiest log cabin I ever seen built. Man, these logs are as big as two of me put together around. Some of these logs that he's stacking on top of each other, building them, crisscrossing them, and together. Amazing. And he didn't really do. He did the most of it by himself. He had help from a couple friends here and there, and mostly everything by himself. And his girlfriend, man, she was a go-getter because she was doing stuff with him too and helping him. Man, it was a hell of a thing. So I watched that log cabin get from nothing from him filling squares of cement boxes for the foundation, and to put the first logs on, to that the building the scaffolding around and all that stuff, so that way he could use winch and pulleys to lift the logs up. It's amazing what the guy was doing by himself.
Wow.
So yeah, this episode, this Star Trek episode, these two, I thought they could have been just probably 1 hour long episode, and I thought the story would have been served just as well. Basically, if all the other fluffy pieces that were cut out that weren't necessarily for the story, and but overall, I would probably give these two episodes together probably a 7. For a pilot and all that, I'd give it a 7.
I think a 7. Yeah, I think that's where I come in, is around a 7. It's a good solid introduction of the new crew. They had a problem to solve. They solved it.
Yeah. It's a real eye-opener into Picard because he's real crass. He's almost rude.
Yeah, he is. He's really crusty in this one, isn't he? He's much more crusty in this one than he is in the later seasons.
He's totally crankshaft in some scenes here and there.
What are children doing on my starship?
And it's this scene between him and Will Riker. He's like, you got to do something for me. He's basically saying, you got to be a buffer between me and kids. I don't like kids. I don't get on with kids very well. Do not let me make an ass of myself, basically, is what he was saying. It's like, do not let me make an ass of myself, because Picard's got that English properness about himself, and he does not want to be unproper.
Yep.
Because, I always think of Picard's background, and he plays a French person that's got an English background in his theater and all that. And I just think about stuff like that, and he's got that proper English stuff going on inside his head because from England and all that stuff. But yeah, it was interesting, interesting interplay between the two, and then him squaring him down about him being questioned about certain things as to do with the captain's safety, and Will Riker, of course, says want to speak frankly, and Picard's like always, of course. His attitudes are not always the same to the always, but and so he just tells him, I'm not going to stop. If I think you're endangering yourself, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to inform you. So I'm going to do my job as the second in command. That's basically what I got out of that. And the captain grudgingly respected that. And it's like, well, I'm going to have to put up with that. I guess so. Okay. That's what I got out of that. What'd you get out of that?
Well, I think over time they begin to trust one another, and you could see like little inklings of where Riker starts to bring it up, and Picard's like, yeah, I know. There's no danger to me, Will.
Oh, one thing that probably no one noticed. Did you see the twinkle in Riker's eye when Picard was talking about not making an ass of himself around kids? Riker thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And he
Oh, yeah.
would. That's his character. He would think that's funny. So I got a chuckle out of that.
Now, I do have to say, one of the reasons why I think that the beard on Riker worked better in the future seasons was because I found his dimple kind of distracting.
That's funny.
I can't be the only one. I was like, the dimple is just like staring me right in the face. It was like, that's very unusual for somebody to have a dimple, such a prominent dimple in their chin.
Yeah, that is a pretty. But I have a pretty decent dimple on my chin. Not as pronounced as my dad's was, but that's Scottish ruggedness on my dad's side of the family.
And what about Data? Data was a little different too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was different. I noticed that he talked not quite like the future Data. Like
He had
they were finding the bells and whistles for Data.
Right.
He had what could be proto emotions in the earlier Data.
Yeah, and he was completely oblivious to what humor was. I thought that was portrayed in an interesting light, because there were some things that happened that was kind of funny, and he was sitting there, and it was portrayed well. It was just like wondering, it's like, didn't quite catch the humor.
It makes me wonder, what cutscenes they had, because obviously Brent Spiner was not without emotion.
Right.
Yeah,
he had a hard time, right? Kind of with the role.
yeah. Be like, oh shit, we got another take.
Yeah, trying to find your way into like an emotionless character, it's got to be a little tough. I mean, he obviously was able to narrow that down and really find it, but it's too, for an actor, especially when you don't have anything to really go on. He was one of the first, I think, like main character androids on TV that was really prominently featured, and not just like a robot,
Right.
Right.
I mean, you had like C-3PO, but he was a straight robot. This is more of an android that was advanced, and it's one of the first versions of it. So it's not like he had a lot to go on. He kind of had to create this sort of modern day character, himself.
I think he's said in interviews that he was closer to lore in real life than he was to Data.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be hard to see yourself as like an emotionless character.
When it comes to Data, tell me if you think this. It's a little mixture of a little bit of Romulan logic thrown in there. Not Romulan, but Vulcan logic.
Mm-hmm.
Did they base Data off of a little bit? And I always had that feeling. What do you guys think? Because McCoy asked him if he was Bones asked him if he was Vulcan. You got pointy ears, boy.
I don't see no points on those ears, boy, but you sound like a Vulcan.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, very, very much so, because that's their whole, identity really is that they're logical thinkers, like a computer. They don't let emotion get involved. So yeah, for sure there would be. Although Spock, I think it's a different presentation, Data and Spock, but yeah, I think the essence of their mentality, or I guess their beings, are kind of similar in how they approach things. Just logical, no emotion. So there's a similarity there.
Yeah, you notice how his hairpiece looked way different compared to the one in the future.
Seems like they went with more of a slick than they did. Yeah.
Yeah, it was slicked back. At one point, I was wondering, it's like, man, did they give him a crew cut?
It's funny, in the makeup tests, you can find, on YouTube, and I guess they're in the special features that Robert Meyer Burnett was a part of. You can see the makeup tests, and they gave him like really rosy cheeks, like Stewart from frickin' Mad TV and stuff. It's really weird.
I don't think that would have aged well.
No, I don't think so either, especially as he was aging. Yeah. And they just went with the
Did you
pasty
notice
white.
how Troy's parts were written very well, and it wasn't too much, and it was just enough? And do you notice how it was written really good? Her portrayals was really good.
She seemed much more emotional in this one than she did in the later seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, because isn't
Pain!
aren't Betazoids supposed?
Intense pain. Sorry.
Aren't they supposed to be a little bit emotional, Betazoids? Because of their telepathic and the empathic abilities?
I would think being an empath that, emotion, perception of emotion and other beings would affect them more so than, an average human.
Yeah, I gotta say, all my favorite episodes involve Data as well. And lore, if you want to count lore too. Interesting dialogue between lore and Data.
Yeah, and bringing up, Counselor Troy and empaths and telepaths, there was a great data-centric episode, Tin Man, where they explored both the Beta Z, this Beta Z prodigy, that Tam Albrun guy, and being overwhelmed with having that heightened telepathic abilities, and then Data, the juxtaposition and the contrast of having Data go along with that because he can't feel those things. That was a great Data-centric episode and a good Troy episode, I thought. Tin Man. That's another episode that I was hoping that Picard would have followed up on, but nope, of course not. They don't love Star Trek.
And apparently, there's these things. The Grateful Dead's got a dead base that tracks all their live performances and all the songs they performed. And guess what? Star Trek's got something similar. A Star Trek encyclopedia of canon. Oh, they make those books, I'm pretty sure. Oh, that would be too easy, right?
God, these frickin' people, Kurtzman, I swear to God, none of them have watched or appreciate or have any love for Star Trek whatsoever. It's pretty obvious. I mean,
sorry, Wes. You can go down to your local Barnes & Noble, go to the Star Trek section in the books, and you can find, what do they call it? Anthologies of the whole canon and stuff?
Yeah, they have Star Trek encyclopedias and all that.
You can go there, find a few different books on it. It's not hard.
Well, since they seem to...
They're even digital now,
Well, since they seem to enjoy stealing, maybe, maybe they can steal one somewhere and actually, read from Star Trek that way and learn about Star Trek that way, since they seem to be stealing from other creators. Justice for Anos.
Hail to that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, overall, these two, I found these two episodes very refreshing for a multitude of reasons. The writing, the cinematography, the lighting, even the makeup artists and stuff like that. It was what it needed to be. The writing was good.
Yeah, it was a good introduction to the characters, the holodeck, the ship, all that stuff.
Yeah, it was solid. There's nothing really not to understand about it. It's a good, straightforward, good old story. Star Trek story.
Yes.
Great. And maybe someday we might get some good Star Trek.
Well, if they would just let Vic Mignogna and the fan productions make their fan productions and just, here's a license, guys, do what you want to do. And if it's good, lots of people will watch it. If it's bad, they won't watch it, but we'll collect the money on whatever, we'll collect some money off of whatever it makes. I think that's a lot better than paying Alex Kurtzman $25 million and spending $8 to $10 million an episode on shit Star Trek
Yeah.
Continues only cost $1 million. $1 million total. $1 million total for 11 amazing episodes. Amazing episodes of Star Trek. So, I don't know.
It makes too much sense there, Wes. It just,
Yeah, that would be meritocracy, is what that would be. That would be meritocracy, and people with talent, the best talented person excelling versus who in Hollywood. Yeah, we got this property called Star Trek. Who do we got to make it? This guy Kurtzman. He's failed at everything he's ever done. But
He also publicly has no interest in Star Trek.
Yeah, publicly has no interest in Star Trek.
It's like they got writers and all that in their writers' room, but I don't think they're writing Star Trek.
Well, and when they do get a good writer like a Walter Mosley, and they claim to be into diversity, they claim to be for that. You have somebody like Walter Mosley in the writer's room, and he's relaying a real world story, giving them some knowledge, some wisdom, and they rat him out, and he's like, I'm out. I can't deal with these insolent idiots.
Yeah, R says, I think the episode with Data really explored the human condition and what makes us special. Better than almost any live-action show. He had abilities far beyond us, yet all he wanted was to be us. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that loneliness and alienation. You're special, but you don't quite understand how you're special, and, you want to fit in. That's great stuff there. It's amazing stuff. That makes him more human than the humans in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
I mean, they even touch on that in Encounter at Farpoint in the holodeck when Data's trying to whistle. His desire to be more human was there from the start. So this was thought out. It wasn't, they didn't just come up with it in later seasons. It was from the beginning.
Yeah, it wasn't willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Well thought out. The writing was there.
See, and here's the thing. Brent Spiner says, I've aged out of the part. I'm too old to play it. In a good Trek series, see, this would be where bad CGI could probably be useful, because he's supposed to be an android. They could just have a really bad CGI version of Brent Spiner as Data, and that would work because he's an android. If they wanted to save a few bucks, I mean. But, the deep fakes have gotten so good now that probably you wouldn't even need that. But again,
yeah.
the deep fakes operate outside of the Hollywood system, so they're not going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was a good trip down memory lane, this one.
Okay, memorable quotes. Would you agree, Mr. Data, that Starfleet's orders are difficult? Data, difficult. Simply solve the mystery of Farpoint Station. Simple as that. Picard and Data first spoken first line series outside of preceding captain's log entry. Yeah. Little quotes from the show. A lot of them, actually. I'm pretty sure they had a toy line already when the TV series launched. Would I be correct in that?
I don't know. See, it launched around the time where I was heading into like the 5th and 6th grade, so I think I was kind of growing out of toys at that point.
But I do believe there was this toy line.
For Next Generation?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was, because I had a Geordi figure. I had a tricorder from Next Gen. I had a couple things from Next Gen. I think I had a phaser, Next Gen phaser. So they did have a toy line.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought Geordi up. Did you notice how don't know, kind of arrogant Geordi was. He was a little arrogant. He really did come across that way, especially with his visor and all the technological stuff to do with it and his technological abilities. Like, I'm like, I never noticed that. So they kind of smoothed out his character a little bit as they got along. I was like, wow. I thought that was, it kind of blew me away.
Well, they gave Geordi a really bad love life.
Oh yeah.
The rest of the season, the series. So, you know.
No love for Geordi.
But then I don't know, they gave Riker some really weird love life stuff too. So.
Oh man, yeah. Of course, yeah. We talked about the scene between Riker and Troy, where I felt like I was watching the Lois Lane Superman scene from the motion picture, where she's talking inside her head and it sounds all echoey. That's kind of what it sounded like. I was reminded of that.
You know, it's funny because I didn't think of that until you said something, and then I just played it through my mind, and it's like, yes, it did. It sounded exactly like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and our Geordi did come across just a little bit arrogant. I was just like, I never noticed that. Wow. I mean, it's one, and it's like, it kind of reminded me how, there's some people that operate at genius level, and they don't have any social skills or social graces. Mm-hmm. So they might be able to build things and build this and build that, these really super complicated computers and stuff like that, code writers, and they might be able to do all those things, but they don't know how to navigate the human condition, emotions, talking with people, social graces, stuff like that. And Geordi came across like that a little bit, like he didn't quite have social graces going on at that moment. But yeah, if you think about it, man, Geordi was a little bit kind of miserable the majority of the time, if you think about it.
Yeah, his character changed a lot. When they moved him into engineering, that was a big change for him.
Yeah, Geordi's move into engineering and O'Brien's move into engineering, because he was the transporter chief.
Yep.
Because he went from red uniform to a gold uniform.
Yeah, there was a Geordi-centric episode in season 1, that one, the Arsenal of Freedom, where Geordi kind of gets tested. I think that was kind of the seeds of him not wanting to be in command anymore, actually.
Yeah. No, there's one episode that was about him, and he had to create a holoprogram of the woman that designed the Enterprise warp engine.
Ah, Leah Brahms. Yep.
Yes.
Leah Brahms.
Shit, what was the name of that episode?
Yeah, that's one that stands out.
That was a good one. And I'm not used to dying. Yeah, that was great stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch the episode with Scotty when they found him in the transporter buffer.
I'm guessing that version of Scotty is a transporter duplicate, like Thomas Riker.
Yeah, and I guess Geordi was the dick. Yeah.
Well, after 75 years in a transporter buffer, it wouldn't exactly be the original.
Yep. Yeah. I was galloping around the galaxies when your grandfather was in diapers.
Yeah. So that pretty much wraps up the 2 episodes. Yeah, I give it a solid 7.
Yeah, it's a 7 for me.
Will you give it final?
I think for what it was, yeah, but 7's probably pretty accurate. Maybe a little higher. I mean, I might stretch it to like 7.5, just because I think they took a lot of good risks. You know, they introduced like starting the new series off with Q. That's pretty bold statement. You know,
Yeah.
to make. I mean, because you think it's been how many years since '69? Was what was TOS's last year?
Yeah, it was 69. That was
69, right?
18 years later. Yeah.
Yeah, so 18 years later, and you're starting off with this pretty omnipotent type character for the first Star Trek you've seen in, 18 years. So I think for giving it the risks they did and making it a two-parter, almost like a movie type event, I'd push it to a 7.5, maybe, on the verge of an 8. Because I like what they did with it. Because especially now, in retrospect, you see what they've done with these classic IPs, where they just aren't really even caring. I mean, it's disgraceful what they do nowadays. So to do something that seemed exciting and took risks, but they were the right kind of risks, where they're taking risks now to pretty much alienate the audience, and the fan base. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I might revise. There is the fact that they really did. They hung over the edge for sure on this one. For it to be the pilot and take so many chances. Yeah, maybe it is a 7.5 because of that. Good points. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe it is a 7.5. Yeah. I'll have to think about that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
put that stuff into account.
Yeah. That's a huge thing. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, Shellback should be here in a minute or two.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, I would definitely give it a 7 for sure. There's no doubt, because it was, yeah, they did take chances, but it wasn't, like I said before, it wasn't in a disrespectful way. And I think that's the difference between then and now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that episode where they found Scotty. I got a feeling there's some probably interesting details that I probably missed the first few times I've watched it.
Yeah, I think it works if he's a transporter duplicate, but if it's the real Scotty, I don't think it works as much for me anyway.
I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm curious how they did that. It's been a while since I've watched that particular episode. What season was that? Or was that season 2 or 3?
With Scotty?
Yeah,
Oh man, that was like season 5, I think.
Yeah.
5. Yeah, interesting. I'm gonna have to watch that again.
Yeah, season 5 had some real good ones. Then season 6 things started kind of to go down a little bit. And season 7 was not the greatest. I liked Lower Decks, which unfortunately the name's been sullied now by the new series Lower Decks, but the episode itself of TNG, Lower Decks, was a great episode. That was one of my favorites of season 7. I was like, well, this is cool. We get to see a different aspect of the ship. What happens if you're not a high-ranking officer? And then they kind of did the...
So, they copied from themselves an episode of Lower Decks that was called Lower Decks. I'm gonna have to rewatch that episode. I vaguely recall that one.
It's a good one. It's a good episode, and yeah, See, if we would have gotten 2 good series of Star Trek versus what we got out of Picard and Discovery, I think Lower Decks would have been received a lot better than it was. It's Lower Decks, the series, it's average, it's okay. But when you've had really shitty Star Trek and then you get a parody of Star Trek, and that's the best they've been able to manage for Star Trek, it's a little insulting as a fan,
And then it's like putting in the out of place adult humor.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it could have worked if we would have had good Star Trek, but we didn't have good Star Trek. We had shitty Star Trek. So it's like you're going to put this is the best you've been able to do with Star Trek, and you're making fun of Star Trek. Okay, well, fuck you.
Yeah, and I'd have to agree with what RR says there. Yeah, they did. They pulled it off. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they did have big shoes to fill, and they did.
Yes,
They did a fantastic job. Up until Star Trek Picard, Picard was my favorite captain. But after and you shared in that, Bear, and you too, Final, watching some of that.
Oh, Picard, yeah.
Yeah, and Picard is no longer my favorite captain.
Philip Gaming, greetings. How are you doing?
Hey, Phil.
Hey, what's up, Phil? Yeah, it's ruined. It's ruined his character for you.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
And there you have it.
God, Picard ain't Picard.
So when's
He's a robot that needs Metamucil and the blue pill.
So when in October does STD start? 3.
I believe October 14th or 15th, so very soon.
And we're gonna what Discovery?
Yeah, and we're gonna do what we did with Picard on Discovery. So that should be very interesting, I think. Well, I would like us to do that. I don't know if you guys can stomach another season.
Oh my gosh, I get it. Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched any of Discovery, so I don't know. Do I have to watch the first 2 seasons?
It would be recommended that you torture yourself by doing that. Yes.
You would at least know where you're at in the torture.
Yeah.
I will volunteer, because I have not watched it either. I will volunteer to watch the first 2 seasons with you.
Maybe here's an idea. Since it's hitting broadcast TV, maybe we should go back and do a watch of it together for those of you that haven't seen it. Yeah,
we could do that.
Interesting. And I'm kind of wondering if they're going to have it on channel 13 over here.
Is that it's gonna premiere on broadcast starting with the season 3?
Season 1.
Okay, so they're gonna start back at the beginning. Yeah. And when is that? Is that also in October?
That I think is on September 22nd, so very soon.
Yeah, just 2 days away.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
In Canada, at least. I don't know if it's happening here in the U.S. or not.
There you are. Your devices weren't showing up.
Hail Shellback.
Hail.
Hey, Shell. Shell, have you watched the great Star Trek Discovery? Shell, are you there? Are you there, Shell?
Oh, hey.
There you go.
No, I have not. And I only saw the first episode of Picard and the first episode of Lower Decks. And Picard because it was free on YouTube, and Lower Decks because Wes slipped me a link where I could watch it. And let's just say that the humor in Lower Decks is not Star Trek humor at all.
It's a little too much adult humor. I mean,
well,
Star Trek's supposed to be able to watch it with your family, your kids, and all that. And with the f-bombs and the adult humor. You really can't.
Well, I'm not even sure if I'd. It's just stupid.
It's dumb
you know,
humor.
And there are times when that kind of humor works, but not in Star Trek. It is not Star Trek humor. So
No. I mean, it's one thing when the Oracle did it, but they weren't trying to be Star Trek.
But what's funny is, and I've only seen like a few episodes of it too. I kind of lost my access to that show as well.
Right.
But even the Orville, even for lack of a better term, a parody Star Trek show, is when it seems more Star Trek to the fans than Star Trek does.
Yeah, I agree. If you guys that haven't seen Discovery are going to start with season 1, I'm going to heap praise on one aspect of it. I really liked Jason Isaacs as Captain Lorca. I liked Lorca as a character. He stole the show. And he was supposed, but what they did to him at the end was just like, oh, so dumb.
Well, I mean, and the thing about Discovery, like I said, I may have seen like part of one episode. I don't know. But when I saw the image or whatever of the albino Orokai looking freaking Klingons, I was like, no. I mean, when it seriously, that the image I saw of a Klingon looked like an albino version of the freaking Orokai from the damn Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I wouldn't have had a problem with it if they would have explained it, so I guess I'll spoil it for you guys. But basically, there are these Klingon religious fanatics, and so they want to, they're separate from the Empire, which would have been fine. And if they would have explained it that way, that would have been fine. But they didn't explain it that way. It's like just all Klingons look like this now. Like they weren't off-world Klingons or Klingons from a different part of the Empire. They were, Klingons. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense if that's the way you're going to go with it.
As the saying goes, Kling orcs.
My Klingons are from the movies and like TNG. If it's not Lursa, B'Etor, or Worf, that ain't my Klingon. Okay.
You do, hashtag not my Klingon. You do get a close up of Klingon boobs though in Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Do they have ridges on them?
You basically
they have any nipples.
If they don't,
hold on. You may as well get a close up of an alligator because that's what it looks like, alligator skin.
Yeah, it has to be the Lursa and is it Ursa or Lursa? It's there's an L
Lursa,
there, right?
Lursa. And B'Etor,
yes.
Huh?
Lursa and B'Etor, you had it right.
Lursa, yeah. I was thinking an L, but anyway, if it doesn't have the Lursa and B'Etor uniform boob window, then again, hashtag not my Klingon. Okay,
but
it's got to have the boob window.
The boob window. These are the Klingons that look like orcs, right?
I'm not sure we can show this or not, but here's what you get with female Klingons in.
Oh, we can't show that.
Yeah, you can't show that.
We can't show that. that looks like full Klingon breast being shown there.
Yeah, I'll post it.
I'll
post it in the
come on, just real quick.
Are they going to have? Are they going to have?
Just like a flash, just a flash.
Are they gonna have to censor this when it goes to TV?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, definitely.
You're not monetized anyway. Come on.
No. People that weren't monetized got yanked for showing stuff.
Oh, my word,
That's
no.
all right. I can probably just Google it anyway.
Yeah, that's a definite no.
Oh, that's definitely no. Can't show that. Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, that's full nipple. No,
Yeah, they're
no.
not showing.
Well, they're any nipples. They're any.
Hey, release the nipple. Okay, come on.
They're concave.
Yeah.
No,
they're not
no.
outies. They're
we
innies.
don't no. We don't want them inverted. No.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Yeah.
Odd.
Oh yeah. Here, do this. Yeah. Not that one. Not that. Where'd it go?
That was the very Star Trek Klingon rape scene that was taken from.
That little scene we saw there.
Yeah. Because rape. It's very Star Trek.
Oh, yeah, that's.
I sent you the link, Shellback.
Oh well, I think I'd Google it anyway. And that's the image that I was talking about with the freaking the albinoism. That they showed that all over the place.
But it didn't
on
look
the
really albino
internet.
to me. It looked gray, like a grayish.
Well, it's gray, white, whatever, close enough.
The female looked gray to me.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's yeah. We would that would definitely do not show. She may be an alien, but she still looks nude.
Yeah.
Here we I got a place where I can put that at. Where can I put that? Let's see here. Yeah, we'll put that right there. I put that there.
So Phil says, well, Troy was mentally violated, if that counts. Well, not like this.
Oh,
They were a
yeah.
little bit more artistic about that episode with Troy.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, these are my Klingon the women right here. These are what Klingon women look like. Yeah. If you want to share my screen.
Let's see here. There's no nudity.
No.
All right, because sometimes when you do searches, you got to make sure your search sets them out.
I mean, you can see it, but right there in the right hand corner, the ladies that I mentioned before, Lursa and Bator.
Yep.
Yeah, I see the window.
That is a Klingon woman right there, boy.
Yeah, those are real Klingon women. Yep.
They used innuendo with them. He said, for your sake, I hope you are initiating a mating ritual. They didn't have to go full on rapey and be, rah!
Oh, what was
Yeah, it's like yeah. I still can't get that image out of my mind, man.
Which one? The Klingon boob one?
With the reverse nipples. Like,
oh yeah, the inverted nipples, yeah.
Yeah, it's strange.
Worf's wife was a good example of a nice Klingon lady too. Although wasn't she part human?
Yeah,
She was half human, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that well, I thought I was remembering that correctly because that's one of the things that that the other Klingons gave his son crap about was being part human. So
I don't know if you guys noticed, but after a while, didn't it look like Troy needed a one of those, those shoehorns to get into her jumpsuits?
girdle?
A
girdle?
Are you complaining? Is that a complaint?
You saying
not a
she
bit.
put on a
Not
few
a-
pounds?
The jumpsuits, they were like skin tight. She had to go up 20 feet
There was nothing
and jump
whatsoever.
to get into them.
No, there was nothing wrong whatsoever with Deanna's uniforms.
I was just pointing out that
Nothing.
her jumpsuits
Yes, they were.
kept getting tighter and tighter
They
and tighter.
they
as
were
progressed.
form fitting. Yes. But
Every
That-
young lad's
yeah, those
Joy.
her uniforms helped get me through the 90s. Okay, don't ruin it for me.
They weren't quite as form-fitting as 7 of 9, but yes, they were
That is-
definitely
this-
Well,
form-fitting.
yeah,
This
well,
is
her
true.
too.
well, for her it required a 20-foot diving board
Yeah.
and a shoehorn to get into the jumpsuit.
All I know is you could bounce a quarter off of either one of them. That's all I cared about. All right.
She go blind bouncing a quarter off that. Hit you in the eye.
It'd be worth it.
I figured you'd say that.
Yeah. I just, I just wear, I just rock a patch like, oh shit, what was his name?
Martok?
General Chang?
Yes.
General Chang, yeah.
Yeah.
Chang, I couldn't think of it.
All right. Time for a song. What do you think?
Me.
I would say the title of this song is probably appropriate. And all the new songs have all been in 4K. Everyone hear that?
Yep.
Yep.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Tobacco. Crazy clown world, music from another land. Light and sound, surrounded by light. I've got my finger on the pulse. Curators of reality, they have no personality. Music from another land, light and sound in the dark of night. You're not alone, make your own reality. Be the monks in your life, protect mythos and mythologies. In a story for story's sake, the writing's on the wall. The band's playing. Crazy clown world, music from another land. Light and sound, surrounded by light. I've got my finger on the pulse. The curators of reality, they have no personality. Music from another land, light and sound in the dark of the night. You're not alone, make your own reality. Be the monks in your life, protect mythos and mythologies. In a story for story's sake, the writing's on the wall, the band's playing. Crazy clown world from another land, light and sound, surrounded by light. I've got my finger on the pulse, the curators of reality, they have no personality. Music from another land, light and sound in the dark of night. You're not alone, make your own reality. Be the monks in your life, protect mythos and mythologies. In a story for story's sake, the writing's on the wall, a band's playing. Crazy clown world, music from another land, light and sound surrounded by light. I've got my finger on the pulse. The curators of reality, they have no personality. Music from another land, light and sound in the dark of night. You're not alone, make your own reality. Be the monks in your life, protect mythos and mythologies. In a story for story's sake, the writing's on the wall, the band's playing. Crazy clown world from music from another land. Light and sound surrounded by light. I've got my finger on the pulse. Crazy clown world, music from another land. Light and sound surrounded by light. Don't fight the buttons. All right. Well. So, which episode should we cover next?
I think we should cover A Matter of Perspective from season 3.
TOS?
No, TNG.
Okay, yeah. I don't know why when I hear season 3 I think TOS. There's reasons.
Yeah. Season 3 was of TOS was kind of meh.
No, yeah, there's some gems there.
Yeah, there is. The one with the Romulan commander, that was pretty good.
All right, so Wes, you know how you said that Picard is no longer your favorite captain because of the Picard show.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think of earlier when I was saying to somebody that I don't let the new stuff ruin the old stuff for me. So like I still love TNG Captain Picard. I mean that I don't know, maybe I'm just stubborn that way. I'm not gonna let the crap that they've been doing to things now ruin what I liked in the past.
If that were the case, I mean, I'd have to hate Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well,
True.
I used to feel the same way, Shellback, and I still love TNG, but I think the watch throughs we've been doing of Star Trek Continues in a lot of ways have elevated TOS for me, and then having that arc of Picard in Star Trek Picard, the way they did it makes it really hard for me to separate that from TNG for me as much as I would like. It still hasn't ruined TNG for me, but I think that Star Trek Continues has elevated TOS for me to a point where it's just that material has made me like and appreciate Kirk more than I did before.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, because I mean, you get people, oh, so and so is my favorite captain. Oh no, this guy is my favorite. And it's like, to me, it's like each one, is I don't know, a favorite or whatever, in their own right. I mean, it's like, I liked I liked Picard, for TNG. I liked Janeway on Voyage, for Voyager, Cisco for DS9. It's, I don't know, they all, it's kind of like James Bond for me. Each actor they've gotten for James Bond has like, put their own little deal, on the character, and it's I don't think that I've come across a Bond so far, and like nah, I hate that, I hate that guy, as Bond, but well, unless they try and give us Jane Bond, or then I'll be like, no. But
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
I hope not. I mean, I hope that's not where they're going with this new Bond movie. It better not be.
Yeah,
It better
I'm
not
with
be.
that sentiment. It better not be. But they pull stunts the stunts they've been pulling and over again and all that stuff.
Well,
and,
the rumor
yeah,
the rumor is right now is like what they're Tom Hardy or whatever is the next Bond, and I don't really see that. I
Tom
mean,
Hardy, really?
No, I don't see it.
Tom Hardy doesn't strike me as Bond. I would pick.
Henry Cavill.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially after The Man from U.N.C.L.E.,
Right, yeah.
But Henry Cavill would be over Tom Hardy. Cumberbatch, freaking Jesus Christ, Tom Hiddleston. Shit. I mean, there's what 3 or 4 right off the top of my head that I would pick over Tom Hardy. But anyway,
I think
didn't
they
mean to
need
derail onto Bond, but
well, I think they need to go with a traditional English accent and go with a traditional Bond and use
well, I mean, they could even
what their
go.
author wrote the guidelines. That author that wrote that stuff.
They could even go, with a Scottish or Irish actor. I mean,
Well, they've done it before. I mean,
yeah.
Connery was Welsh.
I mean,
Irish.
regardless of how much he may or may not have tried, you could still hear that Scottish freaking brogue in freaking Sean Connery's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
he was like a Scotch Welsh, I believe.
But I don't quite remember if I even ever heard where James Bond was supposed to have been from. Like where was he born or whatever?
Or
Where did he grow up?
Yeah, I'm not.
What was he supposed to be born in England or was he born in Scotland or what?
He's definitely English.
Hmm.
That was Ian Fleming. It was definitely English, but I don't know exactly where in England. That's a good question. Well, he was an orphan, so I don't know if he actually really knew where he was born himself.
He'd have to have been at least raised upper class. So he'd be an upper class Englishman.
But I mean, like I said,
to,
Connery was Scottish. Okay.
Pearson Irish.
The one, Pierce Brosnan is Irish.
Oh, I mean, what's his name's Australian.
The one I grew up with in the 70s. Fuck.
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore. He was like probably the only actual British one. I don't know.
Because George Lazenby, he only did one movie.
Yeah.
But, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, but he was Australian.
Yeah. What Timothy Dalton? What about Timothy Dalton?
He's English. Yeah, he's
okay.
English.
Okay.
And Daniel Craig.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to get us off on a Bond tangent, but
we can always go off on a Bond tangent. I'll never complain about that.
Anyway, what about TNG episode 3, season 1? What is that? What it is? We lost our host.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Wasn't that what we were about to discuss? Was TNG season 1, episode 3?
It was
season 3.
It was episode 1 and 2.
Okay. I'm trying to remember.
Well, that's the next one we're going to cover.
I'm trying to remember that far back. I don't, because I mean, I watched them all, dude. Seriously. I mean, when I say TNG got me through the 90s, I'm not kidding. I mean, I watched TNG religiously. And I'm pretty sure I can almost say the same thing about DS9. So, and Voyager. Those I like to, yeah.
As it comes to that guy that played Tarzan recently, that's a maybe. That's a maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh, who played it?
No.
Or is that the other
No,
Skarsgård? He's got a few of them. Skarsgård. There's a few of them now.
he was
Stellan
the guy
Skarsgård.
on True Blood. He was the tall blonde guy on True Blood.
Is he one of Stella Skarsgård's sons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
There's
would
like three of them, or something, and they're all actors.
Yeah. One of them played Floki on Vikings. That's Gustav.
Yeah, there's like three of them, right? Yeah. Okay. And
And Alexander was the one that played Tarzan. And I'm pretty sure he was the last one that played Tarzan. And he was also on True Blood. And I want to say he was... No, that was another guy that was on Lost. Shit, I know he's been in some other stuff that you would recognize.
I'm more concerned about who they would pick as a new Doctor Who.
oh boy.
Exactly.
Well, I heard that the next one's gonna be a guy, but he's not gonna be a white guy.
What's up, Bruce?
Hey,
Well,
Bruce Lombardo.
That seems
What's
to
up?
be
What's up, Nigel? How you doing?
with the trend. Yeah.
Well, I would like them to pick
Scotty, what are you doing? You're up early.
Mads
Or
Mikkelsen. I
late.
think would be a good new Doctor. They could get him.
Oh, Mads would be
Oh,
actually
dude, he's
really good. I could totally see that.
an awesome actor.
Yeah, he would be. If you're gonna try and unmess up what they've done, he would be a great place to start. His Doctor would have. If you've seen him in Hannibal,
Yeah, I have. He's great in that.
he would be the perfect Doctor. He would be mysterious and have the wisdom and the knowledge. You know, he would exude that that wisdom and that gravitas that you would expect from a Doctor. I think he'd be a great choice. I mean, I know he's not British, but you know, you've had a Scottish, you know, a couple of Scottish Doctors, so you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he could pull it off. He would definitely pull off the role. It would be interesting. He would be kind of a more enigmatic Doctor.
Yeah.
You know, it would be the kind of fun.
If
I think it would work.
Yeah, that would be. I think it'd work great.
If
I think
Bear-
if you get some good writing in there, he would be fantastic.
What's that,
Yeah.
Shellback?
if Bear wants to share my screen, this is Alexander Skarsgård.
Why am I seeing too much man flesh?
You're not seeing too much damn man flesh. No more than you'd see on the beach. Come on.
Well, that there looks like too much man flesh to me. Here, you
Oh
guys,
my God! Quit.
that's just too much man
Be
flesh.
secure. Be secure in your masculinity, Bear. Come on. But that's
You
that's
realize
him
I
right
do
there.
that because it's funny.
Yeah.
Kind of rumble in the
That and
I know.
I say it because I know that we'll get some turtle-like remarks.
Yeah. And that's why I was playing along. Thank you. All right.
Oh, you're
Cool.
welcome. Yeah. You see what I did there?
Yeah. I just good God.
I don't think he would
Anyway.
be a good Bond.
Anyway, the
No, I don't
the
think
one on the right, obviously is when he was Tarzan. So
I'm not sure about him as Bond.
No, he
Yeah,
doesn't.
that's why I said a big maybe.
Yeah, no, I don't see him as a Bond either.
who's this guy?
We got RoboSpork.
I thought I'd sneak in for a few minutes. I'm at work, so I can't really stay long, but
So
I'm listening.
We'll keep your secret.
So you still out and about and on work?
Yeah, I'm on the road. I'll be on the road for a while, so it's always fun.
How's the roads and all that look where you're at, and what's beautiful in the area you're at?
I'm down in like Newport News, down in Virginia. So yeah, it's not bad down here.
You're in a mountainous area down there, huh?
I'm closer to the water, so that's more west side of Virginia than where I am. But it's nice. It's nice down here.
Unless there's a national park and a trail, don't walk around out in them back hills there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
No.
I'll get married to somebody's sister cousin.
Sister cousin, she got beard.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll make you sound like a PIG.
PIG, yes. No, I liked what you guys were talking about with the Bond thing, but Skarsgård.
Scotty?
I'm trying to think of it. I can't remember the guy's name. It's killing me right now. I always wanted. I think
Name
he might
the movie
be
he was in.
Well, no, I'm blanking even on the guy. There's a perfect choice that I think. I think the guy who plays Lucifer could play the role.
Yeah, he's pretty.
Oh, that's a possibility.
He has that like snarkiness that you want in a Bond, but I bet you we see a lot of it in Lucifer. He could probably downplay that pretty well. I don't know how he would be as an action guy, but I think he'd be pretty good. I used to always want like Ewan McGregor to be, but I think he's too old now.
Yeah.
Well, when you say snarkiness, though, that's why I think that Hiddleston would be a good choice. Because I mean, like especially if he put in, that Loki-esque, snarkiness, in the Bond. Yeah.
Well, he's a class act, and that's what you want in a Bond.
I could see him doing it. His name's been thrown around before, and I think he'd be a good choice. I would have said back a decade ago, I would have said Hugh Jackman. I could totally see him playing that role too. But now, he's just. I think he's a little beyond the age now where you'd want to start.
Yeah, I'm with Bruce Lombardo. Bond shouldn't be more than 190 pounds. Too much. He should be. He's an agent. He's lean. He's slightly muscular build, and
right, he's the everyman.
Yeah,
he's the everyman.
Yeah,
which would be even more of a reason for Hiddleston to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We don't want no beefcake Bonds.
Well, I mean, look, Daniel Craig got pretty big for the role, and I thought he fit. That's about as big as you get because he
wasn't really beefy. He was just nice and toned
beefy.
And whatnot.
Hey, Captain Trek's going to take off. Hey, for those of you that want to sub to his channel, refresh your page for this show, and you will find his link in the info below.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for jumping on.
Thanks for hanging, Captain Trek.
I love hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, anytime.
And there's his link in the chat there, and I'll put it in this chat now. There you go. You can sub to his channel. Yeah, I want to see a traditional Bond. It's like I'm craving a real James Bond movie. The Sean Connery, the Roger Moore, that cut of a secret agent. I want to see that. I want to see the Noir. I want to see the lore.
Right. I just don't know. Like, there's some really good talent out there. You got James McAvoy. You got, I mean, like, but these guys already are big names, so it's hard to believe that I'll believe, like Henry Cavill. He could not, lose a little bit of that muscle. He's not a big guy when he's not jacked like that. Like when he was in the Tudors, he had the body for Bond, but some of them, I kind of want them to give a new, maybe lower level actor the chance to make it their own.
I don't even think, like, say if Cavill did it, I wouldn't really want him to debuff.
No, he can't be Superman big. I mean, the dude's jacked as Superman.
and so he'd be too big for Bond if he were the same
Well,
size.
the thing is,
Right.
you know, when you're wearing a suit or tuxedo or whatever, like Bond usually is,
Yeah.
it kind of slims them down anyway. You know.
I don't know. I mean,
So-
Daniel Craig, I think, was about as big as you'd want to get for Bond. I can't imagine Bond being like that much bigger than he was or he is.
Yeah, they need to find another Sean Connery type. I think, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, Bond traditionally has gone to not a hugely famous star. You know, most of them were TV. Like Roger Moore was known for The Saint. You know, so he was known, but he wasn't a huge star. Pierce had also been known for Remington Steele. Wasn't a huge.
Yeah.
Timothy Dalton, again, not a huge star. Daniel Craig, not a huge star. You know, Connery was basically an unknown. They've never gone for a huge star. So I do see, like Scotty, you were saying, with Cavill, you know, with Henry Cavill, yeah, maybe he is too big at this point for Bond because it kind of does. You already associate him with something. They've always gone with someone who can kind of identify themselves with Bond, and Cavill's already kind of identified with Superman.
Yeah.
It might
I don't know of any. I don't really know of any British actors that fit into that category, though. Because I mean,
maybe David Tennant's
maybe
David Tennant's too old to do it. I don't know.
even Hiddleston, even Hiddleston is.
He's a little too big too. Yeah,
You know,
he's
kinda
already known.
famous.
Yeah, you'd have to go with. I mean, you'd have to go with someone like a Skarsgård. You know, I think that I don't think him necessarily, but someone of that caliber. That he's known, but you know, he's not a household name. Someone like that. I mean, that was Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig has had some big movies. You know, Layer Cake. He did Road to Perdition. Some big films, but he wasn't.
I liked Layer Cake. That was.
I did too. Layer Cake was great. Yeah,
I still haven't seen that.
it's a good one.
Oh, you should watch it. It's good.
But you know, it's not he's known, but it's not a household name. Same thing with Roger Moore. He was known the same. He wasn't a huge household name.
I think because of Layer Cake is why they chose him for Bond.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, that was definitely why.
Like I can't even think of any young English actors that I've seen in something smaller or maybe an indie type. I can't think of any. Maybe it's because there's no movies in 2020, but I just can't think of any off the top of my head.
Well, all the actors that I would have liked to see play Bond, they're all aging out. They're all starting to be in their 50s. You know.
What about like Jude Law? I would have loved to see him.
Yeah,
I think he would have been a good Bond.
Yep, he would have been great. Yeah. What about Scott? What about like some of the cast from Game of Thrones? You know, what about?
I was thinking about that, and the only one I could think of is James Madison, or I think that's his name, the guy who played Robb Stark.
That's who I was thinking of. Yeah, that's exactly.
I think he had this. Oh, I do too. If you ever seen this show, he has a show called Bodyguard on Netflix. It was on, I believe, before I stopped watching Netflix, and he actually very action. Like the guy can play a different role, but now he's in the Eternals, so I don't know if that makes him too big after that comes out. But I think if you do another Bond right after this Bond and have him as it, so like it's like the Eternals and then he's Bond, I think that'd be fine. Yeah, I think he'd be a great choice. The kid has a swagger about him and like a cocky smile to him that he could do it.
There's a couple of others that I would possibly throw in there, and that's Damian Lewis. And
who's Damian Lewis? What's he been in?
What I know him from the most was Band of Brothers. He was their commanding officer.
Captain Winters. Winters.
Yeah.
He might be a little too old now.
And him or Andrew Lincoln from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You know that he played in Cabin Fever.
But I don't know if he's probably also too old. Andrew Lincoln.
Yeah, like I want them to get a Bond that's late 20s, early 30s that can play the role for another decade.
You want at least
that's a little too young though. I mean, because he's
maybe you're right.
He's supposed to be 30s, a commander.
30s. If they're gonna follow the Daniel Craig kind of Bond, then he's got to be a little older. He's got to be at least.
Well, the thing is,
they all were older.
he was a commander. He was a commander in the Navy before he went to the spy business.
Right.
And it takes a few years to reach commander in the military. Okay.
Yeah.
That's one step below a freaking captain. So. He does have to be older. Yeah. I would have to say at least mid-30s, if not early 40s.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm going to actually look up the ages of the actors when they started Bond.
I think
you guys can keep talking while I'm doing it.
I think Connery was. I think Connery was in his late 30s.
Okay, can I just say something?
43.5.
Can I just say something? I do not have.
Oh, really?
I don't have on Google. I don't have Google on the computer. My Chromebook. I don't have DuckDuckGo. I was just using Google, and I put an age of actors, and it said playing James Bond.
Wow.
That was the top one that came up. They're not listening, everybody.
They never listen.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Freaking, yeah.
Hey, they have to go broke before they
Yeah,
listen.
right. So 007s have mainly been in their 40s. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
George, the one who played in my
Lazenby.
Yeah, Lazenby. Yeah, that I like that. I actually liked him. He was 30.
I did too. Yeah, he was. He got a bad rap. He got a real bad rap. It was a tough movie to do. It was the one that was up until. Yeah, no, still. I mean, maybe up until Casino Royale. It was the one that was most like the novels.
Yep. And Roger Moore was 46 when he started. Timothy Dalton 41. Pierce Bronson 42. I don't see
George Lazenby was 29 years old.
Yeah, the thing that gets me is this. They're good when they first start, even Roger Moore, but by the time they finish the movies, they just a little too old. You know what I mean? Just not Roger, not Craig, but the other ones.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Roger Moore.
Craig's getting up there too.
I found a random thing in my search results. James Norton is reportedly the front runner to be the next James Bond.
Who's he?
James Norton.
He's 34-year-old actor is believed to be in the running to take on the iconic 007 role after Daniel Craig departs from the long-running movie franchise following the release of No Time to Die in April this year.
Oh wow! Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. Yeah,
you pop a picture of him up there.
He's got the.
I can't think of him.
He's got the freaking
I will
debonair look about him. For sure.
I gotta say, RR has a point. The next Bond might be a transitional Bond. Like someone to play one or two movies, maybe not even two, maybe just one, till they find the long term. Yeah, until they find a long term Bond.
I got an article.
Maybe that's risky though, coming off of Daniel Craig. I guess I could. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't think they ever go into this role thinking of a 1 or 2 term Bond. I mean, Dalton only got in there because Pierce.
If you want to share my screen, Bear, I've got him up on. If you want to share it.
Yeah,
right, that was a contract issue, right?
Yep.
That he couldn't play it.
I
mean, if we're talking now that age, you got more guys than you could think of. Tom Hardy, people like that. He might,
That's actually how we started this. Tom Hardy is apparently one of the front runners. Yeah.
Can you guys see that? Can you see that big picture good enough? Or do I need to blow him up?
I don't think Tom Hardy would be a good choice. I think Tom Hardy doesn't have the gravitas for it.
British actor James Norton.
He was pretty damn good in Inception.
There we go. That's the guy.
Yeah, but I don't see him as being suave the way that you need a Bond to be suave.
I don't know. For me, I could say is that he is a very talented actor that plays different roles very well.
That's true.
And the one when he was in Inception, he plays the actor, so he's a little more flamboyant, but you could see that he has that ability to play different roles. So I don't know. You might have a point, but
he got a theater background.
Who?
Tom Hardy?
I don't know. Tom Hardy. Yes.
I would think he would, but
I mean, Tom Hardy, I don't. I'm not sure how many episodes I saw. I can't remember. But there's this show called Taboo, and he is freaking awesome in Taboo.
Yes, he was. He was a little scary in that movie. He was a show. He was good. I don't know if that's still going to be on the air or did it end.
I don't know.
That was a.
Oh,
have you seen the movie
this
where
guy.
he plays the twins? It was based on like a true story.
Yeah.
Brothers.
Legends.
Yeah, he plays both versions of them, and he's great in that movie.
That's what made me first. Thank you for saying that. That was what made me first think he could play James Bond when he was the Street brother.
The thing is, though, the thing is about Tom Hardy though is he's a little bit too rough looking. You know.
That you might have a point.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
He looks like a gangster when he tries.
Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig's a little rough looking too.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still.
What about
Sam? The
Sam
pretty
Hewen?
boy. You know.
What about
Yeah,
Sam
Tom
Hewen?
Hardy-
He plays
Who's
an
that?
Outlander.
Tom Hardy
that's
looks too much like a dude that had a little too much to drink at a sports bar and is ready
What about
to throw
that guy?
down.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, the guy from Outlander. Yeah, I can see.
Oh, dude, that is a good show too.
Yeah,
and-
That guy has a look.
I picked this
Bond,
image.
yeah.
I picked this image because he's got that Bond look going on. This image.
I could go for him as Bond.
Yeah, I've never seen. I don't think I've ever seen him before, but he has a look of Bond. He has a look of a modern day Bond.
Hey, you want?
He's good.
You remember how you always wished the window in StreamYard was bigger?
I know.
Apparently, you can expand it now.
They
You
switched
can
it.
now. Yeah, now you can. You can full screen it.
I just noticed.
Yeah, it's.
Drop us out, right?
I just
that
noticed
what-
it too on this.
No,
So
you
you
can-
can just make it like a big screen. Like you can
Yeah.
take up the whole screen with your ScreenYards window now.
Yeah, you can full screen it.
Oh, let's see here.
And the thing about that guy is,
awesome.
you know, as far as being, you know, the buffness of Bond.
That's
in,
weird.
In,
Check
in,
that out.
Outlander,
Speaking of Inception,
yeah, right. In Outlander, that guy is, you know, he's definitely got, you know, he's cut, but he's not freaking too. He's not too big or anything. You know, he's not bulky.
All right, I better stop that. That might break something.
yeah,
make that GPU work overtime.
it was going to
What's
tear
up,
a
DJ?
hole in. It was going to tear a hole in the universe. Hey, DJ.
Hey, DJ.
If you have that Inception thing going on your screen, that would, not good. Realities collide.
I don't know how I did it, but one time I was watching YouTube on the TV, and between transition from watching YouTube app on my TV, and I switched over to my phone to screen share, and I just happened to catch a screenshot of when it did it, and it was like infinity YouTube going on and it was weird. So I grabbed a screenshot of it just in time. It's never done it again. It was like one of those weird glitches. I tried to repeat it, but it wouldn't do it. So, Shellback, have you had any good turtle soup lately?
What about James Holt? Or not James Holt. Yeah, James Holt, the guy who played in Beast.
Oh yeah, the guy who played Beast. Yeah, he was in About a Boy when he was a kid. Yeah, he's a good actor.
Didn't he play in number 4? I Am Number 4?
No, that was somebody else.
I could see. Yeah, he's not bad. He might be a little young though. I don't know if he's quite there yet. Is he? I think he's still like in his probably.
He's
30s.
early 30s, if
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be the only thing. But he could be one, in a couple Bonds from now. I could see that.
Of course,
He's
when
good. I've always liked him.
the first Bond that was the first or second Bond, he was 29 years old when he was Bond. Of course, men back then looked more mature.
That is true. Yeah, I'm trying. There has. I can't think of any other. That's crazy how I can't think of any other like English actors or Australian actors in like their 30s that could play it. There is this one dude, but I don't. He might be like too short. But he's not that well known. But he was in a show. I used to love this New Zealand show. It was called the Almighty Johnsons. And he played like the brother that had the ability to make people fall in love with him, or if like do what he wants by like whispering. He played Kurt Russell in the Trumbo. I don't know if you ever saw Trumbo.
No.
Oh, that's a good movie. It's about like McCarthyism, communism type time. But let me try to find his name and then you guys can bring him up. Hold on one second. Let me look. It's not going to help if you see him because you won't know. But he has that attitude. That's all I'm saying, like that cocky attitude.
Is that a 2015 movie? Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Good movie.
Yeah. The Almighty Johnsons is a great show. If you guys have never seen it and can find it, it's like
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston. Yeah, it's a good
Cranston,
movie.
That's who's Bryan Cranston's in. He's
That's Heisenberg.
Heisenberg.
Yeah.
So the guy's name is
Stahlbarg.
Yeah, the guy's name is Dean O'Gorman. Dean O'Gorman. So it's Dean, and then his last name is O''G ORMAN. And the guy, I guess it's hard to say he looks like Bond, but when in that show, even he is like he has again that mischievous, suave like attitude, and he pulled off Kurt Russell, and Kurt Russell's pretty cool.
Oh, you're talking about the guy that played in The Hobbit.
Yeah, he was in The Hobbit. Yeah.
Now Curtis YZ is just getting ridiculous. Come on now.
Yeah,
Michael Cera as Bond.
I mean, they don't want to make an English or American actor Bond. I don't think that would be right. I believe
it would be poetic justice for making Superman a British guy.
That is true, but I believe like Bond should stay English, or at least somebody that they sent down to a prison island down in Australia.
English,
you know what I mean?
Welsh, Scottish, Irish, one of those.
One of those guys,
UK,
that.
UK and Australia.
I don't know who Wyatt Russell is from Bruce. Bruce says Wyatt Russell. Does anybody know who that is?
No.
Sacha Baron Cohen. Well, he might have been able to do it when he was younger, but he's too old for it now.
Baron Cohen.
Jesus Christ. DJ, really?
That would Sacha Baron.
Like, who are you? I'm Bond. James Bond. Very nice. Yes.
PPK. It likes you.
It's outside of the box for sure, but he's too old. He's too old for it now.
A little bit. Yeah, but DJ, we all, Cavill would be great, but I think we need somebody who's not an A-lister. Bond should be somebody who's coming up.
Well,
they all have them.
Mikhail Wolf says Carl Urban. Carl Urban, that might just work. That could be an interesting choice. I could see.
Might be too old though. I don't know. How old is he?
He's right around that age.
He's getting to be. Yeah, he's getting to be too old.
His 50s?
Yes, I think
Early 50s?
He's too old to be.
Oh, Bruce is saying Kurt Russell's son is Wyatt Russell. I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, but 50's the new 40, okay? So
Kit Harington, I think if I was going to pick somebody from, like we said before, somebody from Game of Thrones, I'd pick James Madison, Robb Stark. But he's just maybe in about a decade.
I could actually see Carl Urban as Bond. I mean, according to Google, he's 6'1", so he's got the tall, dark, and handsome thing going on for him. And yeah.
And if you ever watch The Boys, I mean, he has that snarky attitude that
I'm waiting for a few more episodes of the next season of The Boys.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to see that on the R style if you
Okay, well,
I hear ya.
that link, follow that link and do a search on that site. You'll see it. Not.
But I mean,
anything.
Carl's 48. Carl Urban's
Yeah.
48, so he's right in that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Even if he
Yeah,
just
you can
does
do it.
one movie, one or two.
So
And then-
interesting segue into The Boys here, because I don't know if any of you have seen season 1 and are watching season 2, but
I gotta
just
watch
wanna
episode 5.
I just want to see the episode with the baby with the laser eyes, and I'll
That's awesome.
I'll
just
be
the
good.
look in Carl, dude. Just the look in Carl Urban's eyes when he shoot. Oh, that was fantastic.
Hey, Final, were you trying to say something?
No, I mean not.
No, that was Wes. I cut Wes off. Sorry.
So yeah, The Boys season 2. I feel like there's a pretty big decline in storytelling. I don't know if any of you feel that way or not.
Yeah.
I think
I haven't watched it yet. Season 2.
I haven't seen the newest episode today. I was going to watch
Episode
it
5?
yesterday, and I haven't seen episode 5. I'm going to watch it in a little bit. But what do you mean by that? Let me ask. What do you think?
Well, I can't without spoiling it, but in episode 5, there is
Yeah,
just like some sharp
I haven't
jump.
seen any of season 2 yet.
Okay.
In episode 5, there's just a romance that happens out of nowhere. That's a complete shark jumping moment for me. That's just like, really.
Not
Which
Really?
which characters?
Well, do you want me to spoil it?
No.
Okay,
No,
I'm
just
not gonna
let me put it this way. You got like you got certain people's stories, to me, aren't what The Boys is supposed to be about. They're, the deepest, it's a funny one, but it's kind of what's going on here. I do like the music they're choosing, how they have like the same artist singing in every episode. But I don't know, they're making it too, like they're trying to make The Boys, the group of The Boys, like too friendly, too good. They're not supposed to be that wholesome, and I don't know how to explain it. I think it is going off track a little bit. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, a standout for me. Part of what I liked was when they had when they had the Deep join like a cult, a Scientology cult. I liked that. I thought that was.
I think it's a good idea. I don't know though. Like, there's just parts of it that it's not, to me right now. It's not as good as season 1, but a lot of season 2s aren't as good as the season 1s. But Carl Urban's awesome. I mean, the dude's just great in the role. I don't know if I cared. Like, put it this way. I don't need a buddy road trip thing. That kind of dragged on for too long. There's some part of the storylines, like I want to get back into the meat of it and figure out what the hell's going on. But that might happen in episode 5.
Yeah, I just
not going to happen.
Not that long ago, I finished up.
Spoilers.
It takes a hard left turn, and you're like, "What?"
And for put it this way: for an 8-episode season, it shouldn't take any hard left turns. It should stick to what it's trying to do. That's what pisses me off in these short seasons. Like if it was 20, even if it was 10 or 12 episodes, maybe, but it's only 8 episodes. We're already past the halfway mark.
Yep.
Yeah,
it really feels like it's meandering a lot. Yeah.
I agree. When you have short
Um,
seasons, you got to really cut to the chase.
I just got done watching the first season, and honestly, I'm watching because Carl Urban's in it, and
He's
I like
great.
his character. And the young kid in the video store, he's growing on me.
Oh, I like him as
I like his story.
I like him as an actor.
And
I do.
the new blonde superhero,
Yeah.
I like her. She's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a good character.
She's good.
And
She's a good character.
Those 3 things is probably why I'm watching. There's probably some things that are.
No, and she's not blonde. Never mind. I was gonna say Stormfront. but she's not blonde.
I don't
it's,
like Stormfront, and I really don't like her after episode 5.
Oh, I can't wait
And
to watch it.
I only know of her because of videos that I've seen like on YouTube and stuff. Because I like seriously, I've only seen snippets of The Boys. I've not seen a full episode.
Is
Well, the
she's
Stormfront
a new character?
Yeah, she came out of nowhere, and so it's her character doesn't even make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, I know maybe supposedly the comic it's different. It's not, they gender swapped her, and
Yeah, they gender
Oh,
swapped
with
her.
the guy? Oh, okay.
but there's just, man, this. Okay, you've seen, Scott, you've seen episode 4, right?
Yes.
So that was
Yes.
a weird episode in and of itself. Like the
Right.
Elizabeth Shue returning, and that's kind of weird.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
She
that
comes
was-
back? Oh,
Oh yeah,
God,
dude,
I
it
shouldn't
was.
be listening.
No, just say that was a weird part of it, but it was actually also like a kind of a make or break moment for that character, I think. And then you have like that road trip. Like you didn't need to be that long of a road trip, like it just, like, I get it. We want to like feel that connection, but I don't know. And then why do we have to have like the dad moments, like dads who were great but they're dead, or and now I'm not a good dad, and I hope I don't pass my weaknesses onto my child as a dad. And there was just a lot of that, like dads that we loved but didn't come through it for us when we needed them to, type shit. And that pissed me off in that episode. I'm sick of the whole dads are, they kind of say dads are good, but in really what they're saying is dad went too far, and this is why he's not with us anymore. This was too important, and we weren't important enough for dad. There's always something wrong with the dad.
Yeah, that's kind of the you see that in a lot with sitcoms as well. The dad's the goofball, the dad's the fall guy. You don't have those kind of stronger traditional male father roles anymore in TV. And yeah, I mean, that's part of the what I believe agenda. Discredit the
I'm with you.
the leader
Nuclear
of the
family out the door.
Yeah.
And when I say nuclear family, I just mean two parents. But I think if there's statistics, I don't want to get into this. Forget it. I'm not going to go there. But I actually got to get going, guys. Thank you. Hey, Bear, thanks for letting me jump on, man. I wish I could stay longer, but I got to freaking work for another like 10 hours. So you guys take care of yourselves. I'm going to watch that later, Wes, and I'll maybe shoot you a message, let you then ask you what you were going to ask me.
Okay, will do.
All right, guys, have a great night.
Yeah.
Later.
Scotty, before you go,
Yes.
you're still my favorite TikTok thottie. Okay.
I am the TikTok body. I'm not saying that I'm like, check mark TikTok big, but 3,700, whatever.
I mean,
Whatever.
And now you're like, that's a big thing to say now because it's dangerous to be a TikTok. Because now it's like illegal.
I'm playing like a bad boy role now.
Yeah, you are.
Bad
Well,
boy
I
role.
mean, if they do get rid of it soon, like I hear they're going to, at least you'll go out on top.
I'll go out on top. My YouTube barely, just broke 1,000. I maybe near 1,000 with Twitter, but we'll always have TikTok. That summer of TikTok. What a year. Fucking 2020. All right, guys, later.
Fun.
Yeah, Bruce Lombardo. I think the Deep, hopefully that his arc pays off in some way. Otherwise, it will feel like filler. Yeah, there's a specific scene with the Deep that's pretty weird. While he's exploring his issues, it's kind of morbid and weird, but it's not. That's probably not PG. Never mind.
Not stream appropriate.
Not stream appropriate. Nope.
Yeah, I have to watch. I have to start getting into the second season because I like the first season. I mean, how do you compare the two? How does it get bad? Is it like really woke or not so much?
I wouldn't say it's hope so much as the story just loses all of its focus. Like in season 1, you had a clear arc. This guy killed my girlfriend.
Thanks for stopping by, Scotty.
This guy killed his girlfriend. He you find out the superheroes, their public image is not what it appears to be.
Right.
And so there's a journey to expose them, and meanwhile it explores the background of what superheroes as celebrities. I thought that was interesting. And in season 2, it meanders. It doesn't have any focus. It's just oh look, we're gonna make Homelander be an asshole. Okay, well, I mean, I like that, but there has to be some something behind it. There needs to be some reasons for these people, these characters. It's like, it's gone from, very tight and cohesive to almost like a sitcom format where it's like, hey, let's watch the Deep get recruited by a cult. Whee! And it's, putting them in situations just for the sake of shock value rather than having it tell a story.
Right. Which is the downfall of any series, really. When it starts getting into the sake of something instead of telling a story, eventually you run out of places to go with it.
Exactly, and yeah, well, episode 5, man. I don't know. Hopefully, he's still not listening. I don't know. Do any of you mind if I spoil it?
Are you talking to me? Well, no, yeah, I don't really want to hear too much of it.
Oh, okay, then
boys?
I'll keep it quiet. Yeah.
Don't.
But yeah, there's a romance that pops up in episode 5, and you're like, where the frick did that come from? What the hell?
What I don't understand. What I don't understand is, what happened to the good old days when they had a good enough of a story or stories to have a 24 episode season for like 5, 6, 8 seasons, like one of my favorite TV shows of all time not only had like a season long arc, but they also had just the different episodes that stood on their own, and that was Miami Vice. Back in the 80s. And that show went on for what, 6 or 8, was it 6 seasons, 5? I don't know. Anyway, it was at least 5 seasons. So, and like 22, 24, whatever episodes per season. So, but now they have like what? They want to do like 8 or 10 episodes and only go for like 3 seasons or something like that. What the, it's just, I don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah, one of those things, eh?
Yep.
All right, let's see here. Shellback, I got you that information you were seeking.
What's that?
Check your DM.
Oh, is it different than what Wes said?
No, it's all good. All right, let's see here.
Yeah, if there's a better one, send me one too.
Oh, you know what?
Okay. I'll have to check that one out too.
All right. There we go. All right, Pearl in the Moonlight. When you guys want to pick something, throw a song out there. Then we'll go around the horn, and then we'll rock this one out the door.
Freebird.
I can't do that one.
Freebird.
Celluloid Hero. Was it Celluloid? Not Celluloid Hero. Celluloid Hero?
Yeah. So
Or,
far here.
Which one's that one I love? Celluloid?
There's Storyman Sound, Turn the Wheel, Welcome to the After Show, Into the Looking Glass. That's
Oh,
one
Into the
you
Looking
like.
Glass. Yeah, I like that one.
All right. Let's do this. Do that. Do that. All right. Undo the sound. There we go.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that girl, she's got some class. I've stepped through the looking glass. Take a drink and raise your glass. Let me tell you that girl, she's got some class. So raise your glass. Won't see times like this again. I can take your name. You take from the land. I can take your name. I see her reaching down. I step through the looking glass. Oh, she sure does have some class. I've traveled the land far and wide. East to west and west to east. They say it's the best in the west. North wind of me. North under where the north wind blows. Tell me that girl got some class. I step through the looking glass. Let me tell you that a girl, she's got some class. I'm stepping through the looking glass. Take a drink and raise your glass. Let me tell you that girl, she got some class. So let's raise your glass. Oh, she's not like these again. I can't take your pain. Ain't gonna be reach for her free hand. I can't take your pain. I see a man reaching down. I'm stepping through the looking glass. Well, she sure does have some class. I just don't care. East to west and west to east, they say it's the best. In the west, north wind blowing, tundra where the north wind blows. Let me tell you that girl, she got some class. I'm stepping through the looking glass. Take a drink, raise your glass. Let me tell you that girl, she got some class. So raise your glass. Won't see times like these again. I can't take your pain. Take a page from the plan. I can't take your pain. I see a hand reaching down. I step through the looking glass. Boy, she sure has some class. I traveled the land. East to west, west to east. And say it is the best in the west. North winds from blowing. Thunder where the north wind blows. Let me tell you that girl, she's got some class. Let me tell you she got some class. I'm stepping through the looking glass. Won't see times like this again.
Well,
Yeah, that's the one. That's a good one.
yeah. Oh, and then there's this one here, too.
Is your love on fire? Wind over earth, fire and sea. Call the clarion, raise the fire. It takes a historian to call the clarion. You need a wind caller. Call the elemental of air. A touch of fire spirit. Salt of the sea. The fourth wave, always back, 4 doors to go, 4 steps away. What is real? Let's catch the deal. Maybe we could, maybe we should do something about it. It's not the end, it's just a little bending of the fourth wavelength. Universe changing, mind bending, never ending. Gotta get
get some, it takes a historian to call the clarion. Then you need a wind caller, then you need elements of the earth. A touch of fire, a little salt of the sea. The fourth wave waves back, four steps to go, 4 steps away. What is real? Let's catch the deal. Love on fire, wind over earth, fire at sea, call the clarion, raise the fire. It takes a historian to call the clarion. You need a wind caller, call the elemental earth. A touch of spirit, salt of the sea. The fourth wave always back, 4 doors to go, 4 steps away. What is real? Let's catch the deal. Maybe we could, maybe we should. Let's do something about it. It's not the end, just a little light bending. The fourth wavelength, universe changing, mind bending, never ending. Gotta get some, it takes a historian to call the clarion. Then you need a wind caller. Then you need a wind caller. You need elements of the earth, little salt of the sea. The fourth wave always back, 4 doors to go, 4 steps away. What is the deal? Let's catch the deal. Love on fire, wind over earth, fire and sea, call the clarion. Raise a fire, it takes a historian. Call the clarion, you need a wind call. Call the elemental of the earth. Hey,
All right.
hey, I think this is the one actually you said was going through your head one day. Line the cubes, turn the lights down. All right, real quick, go around the horn and tell the chat and where you can be found and how awesome this chat just happens to be and how they're the best in the community. Yeah.
We do have the best chat on YouTube. I am Wes Moody, the Wes Moody Webcast. If you are catching this on the replay or lurking, I'd be honored if you'd consider subscribing to my channel. You can catch me at Wes Moody, youtube.com/Wes Moody Webcast. And to talk about pop culture, current events, occasional conspiracy theories, occasional car talk, gaming, streams, and I vlog about whatever the heck I want to because it is my webcast. Hope to see you there. Thank you, my friends.
I like it straight to the point. Do what you want to do. Say what you want to say. It's your show, your channel.
Yes.
The elevator speech, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'll mirror that at FinalDeathStar. And yes, we do have an amazing chat here for 3 hours, and you guys are still hanging in. So impressive.
Indeed.
Yeah, really, really good. And we had a great panel tonight. Shellback stopping in, and Captain Trek and Sporking had some nice guest appearances. Good conversations. So you guys can find me at FinalDeathStar on YouTube here and FinalDeathStar1 on Twitter. And also tomorrow night, I will be having my Enter the Nether show. It'll be probably at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So check that out. And that's it. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Really, really, really appreciate it.
Shellback.
Well, if anybody here doesn't know me already, I am Shellback TJC. You can find me. You're making me dizzy.
What does the TJC stand for?
That's my initials, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you just give your secret identity away?
No, not really. I mean, Not that I've really tried to
It
have
just-
one,
it
but
sounded
anyway,
funny. Here, let's go back
I mean,
to this.
it's been. Kid lie. Yeah, I should like just lower my voice when you make me small or something like that. It'll be like my name is Shellback TJC. You can find me at YouTube. Yeah. All right. Anyway, it's been about a month since I made my last video, but hey, go check it out anyway. And you know, if need be, you know, if I have to bribe you with, say, candy corn or Reese's peanut butter cups, let me know. I'll put them in the mail. Thank you.
Tacos.
Tacos? Yeah.
Tacos today, tacos tomorrow, tacos
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
Tacos. Tacos sound kind of good. Yeah, and as always, you can find all these fine gentlemen links in the info below.
Indeed. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, just make sure that you're subbed to everybody on the panel, and see ya.
Yeah, and we will play this last song. And I believe I got everyone's link in the chat. Of course, you guys know where I'm at because we're here.
Wait, where is this again?
Huh? Where?
I said, where is
What?
this again? Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
let's
it's
see.
youtube.com/watch equals 7U8RPLQFW. Yeah.
Yeah, dot and dash and this and that and where were we? Where were we going?
Yeah. I don't.
All right. Play this one, then we will say goodbye to the best chat in the community, and you guys are awesome. You guys are great, man. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, mods that were modding and all that stuff. Thank you, RR, for being out there, and we appreciate all of you. And put some prayers and thoughts toward Tommy. Send him some good energy to help him through what he's facing and dealing with. With that, we will play this song. Hail to the Phantom Menace, and Gary always said it best. We do not kneel at all. The wolves are gathering around. Line the queues, turn the lights down. Normies and paper cowboys. Wolves gathering around, fatal attractions and their distractions. Don't cancel the movie, don't cancel me. Don't cancel the popcorn. All the bellicose in the cellulose line to you. Turn the lights down. Are you ready for the greatest picture show? Let's get to it. Let's do it. Don't you blow it. Get to it. Careful what you sow. Put a little bow on it. Get to it. Once a little package. Why that is a little package. Going to the picture show, so nostalgic, it was heraldic. Speaking of something told, was it foretold? Was it foreshadowing? Chatter, it's all that matters. You know it's a picture show, interconnecting, never disconnecting, saving the world one song at a time. Saving the world one song at a time. Saving the world one song at a time. Wolves gathering round, line the queues, turn the lights down. Normies and paper cowboys. Paper cowboys. Wolves gather around, fatal attractions and their distractions. Don't cancel the movie, don't cancel me. Don't cancel the popcorn. All the bellicose in the cellulose line the queues, turn the lights down. Are you ready for the picture show? Let's get to it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Don't you blow it. Don't you blow it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Careful what you sow. Careful what you sow. Bow on it. Get to it. Write a little nice package. Go to the picture show. So nostalgia gets heraldic, speaks of something told. Was it foretold or was it foreshadowing? Cut the chattering, it's all that matters. You know it's a picture show. Interconnecting, never disconnecting, saving the world one song at a time. The world one song at a time.